Hey guys and girls, just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Buzzsprout. Start a podcast today with free podcast hosting for Buzzsprout, easy podcasting software for hosting, promoting, and tracking your podcast. Buzzsprout is the best way to publish a podcast online for secure and reliable hosting to full iTunes support. Get started for free, no credit card required, cancel at any time.
Stats for losers.
That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
Welcome to the Airin podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Airing It Out podcast via live stream on YouTube. Hey. I am Dustin Marion. He is Hollow Clutch. What is going on? Right? We got it. Don't worry, I gotta get that. We're gonna get that soon, kids. It's coming. This whole thing is totally new to me. You know what's weird? I started out with the point where I was like, well, I want to get into streaming. Just wanted to do games, but this streaming like show shit is fire.
Yeah, for sure. It's because you couldn't actually work anywhere in the world. You know, like you build your audience, you build your following, and you're not held down somewhere where you're like, I can't leave my hometown of New York or California. Like if you want to pick up tomorrow and be like, yo, we out of Australia, this is something like a business plan that you can go somewhere and still have the same impact because it's online. Like the way online has changed life, it's freaking crazy.
It's amazing, dude. It's amazing. So we had some kind of shitty version of a script and we didn't even go through it because we had so much nerves and shit trying to get this right. But didn't we want to like take some shots at the NFL?
Oh,
today didn't we want to come in and start with these guys? I mean, we're gonna do this and then we'll segue into our picks. I'm just gonna have to like wing it and look at my phone and see what's
for sure.
We're like half-assed on the low. It's just.
We're playing it by ear.
Yeah. I forget what was the specific rant.
I think was it NFL or MLB? It was MLB, wasn't it?
Nah, MLB's good. They went away. They're
Don't say about the rant of that dumbass manager.
Oh, that's what it was. Yes, it was the World Series. It was the World Series rant. Yes, about that guy leaving him in. I didn't get to see the play, but I mean, I don't know. You know what I find fascinating? You have these really good teams, and I get it. It's the largest stage in the whole wide world. But it almost seems also almost tank ridden, right? Like we talk about it a lot in football when we say like teams go to the Super Bowl and they try to get too creative when it's just like you're just staying in your lane. I think the same happens to coaches because I forget who it was, but I know it was Joe Madden. And Joe Madden almost lost the World Series for the Cubs in Game 7. And so now we're talking about how potentially the Tampa Bay coach lost the World Series based on a bad decision.
I don't think he lost the World Series, the total of the whole World Series, but he definitely lost that game to force a Game 7 where anything can happen in a Game 7, and palms get sweaty, bats get a little tighter, you're overthinking things at the plate, and I think he did his team a disservice because for the most part his team was the underdog the entire time. Like all the pressure was on the Dodgers to clutch it and come through because Clayton Kershaw needed a ring, and I feel like that was all on them. So for him to pull out his starting pitcher who only threw 73 pitches, and your logic is that we've been doing this the whole season because for the most part that's what they've been doing the whole season where he don't go past 6 innings. You got to feel the game out. He is striking out the other team's top players and making them look foolish. And the fact that you got these guys in the early, mid 50s, 60s, and 70s who would pitch 7, 8, 9 complete games in a 2-week period type of thing and bat. And you're telling me now with modern medicine and these guys are being specialists and these guys are only having to focus on one aspect of the game. And you're going to pull that guy because you want to go to analytics because analytics are telling you to do this at this moment. I just think like that's where analytics is ruining baseball. And that's my little rant on that. You can't pull a guy out with 73 pitches and he's fucking dealing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely a crazy situation in the sense of, what do you do? I mean, if according to the way you told me the story, I didn't go back and watch the tape, but homeboy was dealing. He already sat down the top of the order twice.
Strikeouts.
You got to stick with your guy. You can't. And I think that at this point, you can argue that the bullpen was probably raped because the Dodgers were just not going away, right? Like there were opportunities that the Rays could have put them away, and it escaped. And I mean, I'll tell you this. I think that Tampa showed you how to do it, even though they didn't win. You need arms, man. As great as hitting is, you need arms. But then, again, like you said, you take the question into position on whether or not it was smart or not to make the decision to take homeboy out. But like I said, maybe he thought that's another thing too, that matchup bullshit. Like you were saying with the analytics. Hey, I see you, daddy. I know those motherfuckers need to get their act together and figure out what the fuck they're gonna do, because Hideki, I was gonna call him Hideki Matsui, but their Japanese pitcher is a free agent, and I don't think they're not gonna re-sign him. So they need to look at some things. Maybe they could take some pictures from the Rays.
and I feel like Mookie Betts should have got the MVP. I
that was so stupid.
I know Corey Seager had, I think, a better batting average and a couple more RBIs, but I think
fuck Corey Seager.
I think Mookie Betts should have won. He made a lot of big plays that were like, he robbed a couple of home runs, a couple of balls in the gap. He got a couple clutch, RBIs in certain situations. He stole a home plate, if I'm not mistaken, on that botch play. He did a lot of little things that he deserved the MVP. And I think I think the writers, whoever votes for them, it's so weird. Like, it should be either players, or they should do like how kind of like the NBA kind of has it, where it's like 50% the voters, I think, if I'm not mistaken, like 25% fans and 25% players and coaches. Take that approach where you involve everybody, as opposed to just having these writers who hold these grudges. It could be somebody who just didn't like Mookie Betts and they voted for Corey Seager instead. Like it could be something along those lines, as we see with Hall of Fame.
Not to start some shit, but if Black Lives Matter, where we at? Should have given it to the black dude. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been a perfect opportunity to be like, hey, we endorse our African American, culture and baseball, and nobody. I mean, if you wanted a guy, we were talking about this the other day. The MLB does a piss poor job at marketing their stars. This was like the premier time to put Mookie Betts on
everywhere.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, he's the guy. This is what you want to play like. This is how you want to hustle. This is how you want to steal. This is how you want to rob motherfuckers for home runs. This is how you want to hit home runs. Like, he checked all the boxes. Corey Seager is going to be, in my opinion, not forgotten in the history books as somebody that he's not. I'm not going to say he's not dynamic, but he's not that household name that people are going to be cramming for. I would have gave it. I mean, you could make an argument. Bellinger could have got it too.
True.
Over Seager. Seager, come on, bro. What he did.
Even Buehler, the pitcher, he could have got MVP too, because he was pitching lights out.
Yeah, he was doing some work.
It all depends. I just think baseball it's come and gone. Hopefully they keep it short, keep the same playoff format, keep it exciting. Market their stars. I think they could tweak a little bit of rules here and there, and even before the season, when people were complaining about the whole pitching, like each reliever has to at least face a whole batter. I think they did a good job. I think baseball was actually more fun instead of having these guys who are, coming in and have to face, one batter and switch. I think you had to face a minimum of 3 batters if you came in as a reliever, which I think was pretty dope. You force these guys to get in there. These guys are getting paid $50-60 million for just being a specialist. A lefty specialist or righty specialist. I think they took those guys out of the game and made the game more exciting.
Yeah, no, I think it was pretty awesome to see what they had available and how they put it together. I told Laura this was one of the most exciting baseball seasons ever. Yep. 60 games, 16 teams. It just seemed like a lot of fun. The weather was better. A lot of players played better. A lot of teams showed up that you would have not heard of, like the White Sox of the world and the Oakland A's of the world, even the San Diego Padres of the world. They got an opportunity to get in, and then Minnesota on the American League. Tampa Bay, they were an amazing story. I think if anything, their story got, like put away because the Dodgers were having such a good season and the Yankees weren't doing so great. But the Tampa Bay spanked that division, and then Blue Jays came in, so it was a really good season. I mean, overall, it was great. Of course, there's some miscues, and of course, they had to fuck it up. I still think Mookie Betts is the best player on the planet. He had a chance to showcase homeboy. You know, for people that don't know, right? Because now you're gonna get that Floridian audience. I mean, obviously, I think if you're in the East Coast, you have to know. If you're a baseball fan, you have to know who Mookie Betts is.
Yeah, for sure. But he won already. You know, he won.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, for sure.
He won in the AL and he went to the NL and won in the NL. Like,
I was telling this to my wife. I think that when you look at it overall, where his resume is gonna finish, you can argue they're gonna win another one. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
Signed for 12 years or 10 years.
And what did you think about the whole debacle at the end of the game with Justin Turner?
All right, so explain to me with this Turner shit. The homeboy is getting hot in the streets.
Okay, so Justin Turner,
COVID.
So
now he's getting hot. What happened?
So Justin Turner tested positive for COVID.
Facts. Okay.
So he played in the game.
Wow.
He was playing in the game, and then they got the test results back for him and the team. So he was the only one who tested positive for COVID. They pulled him out in the 8th inning and say, "Hey, you tested positive for COVID. You gotta, come out the game." Blah 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 blah. He had to go back to the locker room. So obviously they won the World Series, and he went and celebrated with his teamates.
Okay.
And ran onto the field, but but he had a mask on. Cool. But exactly, but he had a mask. He had a mask on, but you're still hugging your teammates. You're still screaming under the teammates. Then he takes a picture with his girl, and then with no mask on, hugging her, gives her a kiss on the mouth, like.
Damn, he's just giving the germs to everybody.
Some I don't care. So they were talking about how what happened if Tampa Bay won? The World Series would have to be played next week, or in 2 weeks, because he basically since he played in the game, he could have infected the other people, which we have to still wait for those results to come out from those people. Because I'm pretty sure the MLB is going to do another test on all the players. The only thing I was this sucks that he was a little bit selfish just on his part. Is that he didn't go, let's say, Mookie Betts' grandparents were there, or Mookie Betts was going to go see his grandma, grandpa, and then he had it and it gave it to somebody. That was kind of selfish, from that point of view. So that's why Justin Turner is getting a little bit of heat.
That sounds crazy, though. This is the thing, then, and it pulls it back to another thing that we wanted to start talking about. And it's a good segue. So I don't understand. Is COVID dangerous or is it not dangerous? I'm still confused as fuck.
I think
right? The Rock looked phenomenal.
Yeah. I think is
it a rich thing? Yeah. If you got money, I mean, I think not only is it your responsibility to be kind to others by wearing a mask, washing your hands, trying to social distance, and all this other stuff. With his behavior, it almost seems like, well, it's not a big deal, so I could just do whatever the fuck I want, and nothing's gonna happen, right?
Basically,
so,
here's my thing with the whole COVID stuff. I think we've touched on it before. I think if just people were just honest with all the numbers and everything, the hospitals were honest with what they're dealing with in the hospitals. Everybody would be more at ease because cases are going up, but the deaths are going down. That's the issue. And the medium age of people who die normally is 81 medium age. Mm-hmm. The median age of people who die from COVID was higher than that. So it was obviously affecting old people the worst because they were, their bodies are beaten down. A lot of older people get it. Even a lot of old people died to the flu, and
that's a number. That's a number that's not really talked about too,
because we're numb to it. That's the issue that I have with this whole thing, and we're numb to numbers, and I've used that slogan before and used that phrase before.
I know you have.
And it's just whatever 65,000 people die a year from the flu. 500,000 people die every year from cigarettes. You got the people who die, I think it's 70,000 die from car crashes. We're just used to those numbers. And since we don't want to do anything about them and we're just numb to them, all right, cool. It just happens. I heard this yesterday on Joe Rogan's show. 1.5 million people died last year from tuberculosis. And nobody took in the world. And nobody, it's not a a worldwide, epidemic thing. And it's kind of crazy, that whatever the media wants to politicize and use to scare people and to force people to vote a certain way and program people to do a certain thing, that they use it and manipulate the masses. And that's scary to me, because it'll be anything with free speech. Because how about, like, whatever we talk on this podcast, it's kind of scary if we were to say, whatever, COVID is overblown, and then we get canceled just for saying something like that. So, it's a slippery slope we're heading into. And I want the people to wake up and pay attention and make sure we don't give away our rights little by little. Like Glenn Greenwald yesterday, he resigned from his paper that he worked for, because he was criticizing Biden, and they were like, you can't criticize Biden right now. And he was like, I'm out, deuces. And he quit.
Yeah, we're in a very interesting situation here too, to go to that, because that was part of our feed as well. I don't know, man. I just think that people, like, I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and he believes that the Biden Kamala administration is going to handle COVID better. And my argument was, I don't really think that anyone can handle this better. This is just something that's going to get worse. Now, potentially, if they get into office, they might be able to green light, some big money headed to everybody. But I don't know. I don't think Kamala Harris said, to Michael Pence on that debate that there would be more transparency through the government. I doubt there will ever be transparency on the government's behalf, whether it's a Democrat in office or a Republican. And it's a slippery slope. I mean, who is Trump worse, and is Biden better? I don't know. I don't know if that's entirely true. I mean, Kamala Harris has her stains. I think that Biden's been in office so long that he's changed his points of view on topics,
which is fine. I think I don't like how we pigeonhole politicians into certain things, because if you got a progressive, any smart person in the entire world, anybody who has a shred of common sense. So let's say if we tell you, hey, if you smoke cigarettes, you're going to die. It's a high percentage of getting lung cancer. And in the 50s and 60s, the tobacco company was paying doctors to say that, you cannot die from cigarettes. And that obviously later been proven that that's bullshit, the link to cancer to smoking cigarettes and tobacco. So, like, that's what I mean by we can't pigeonhole these politicians into certain things until they get information. Because even Obama was against gay marriage.
So was Hillary Clinton.
Exactly, which is fine, whatever. And you just, all right, let me change my stance on it, because you should be able to change your mind without, being, no, that's not what you said. You said people have to stay this way forever, and you can't change your mind. New information doesn't matter. And I think that's the wrong thing to do. It's just like with anything, like if you're doing a diet and it's saying, hey, you're getting too much creatine in your diet. Hey, creatine is bad for your kidneys. So now should somebody be like, oh, you said I could take creatine and you're switching. How come you're switching? But you're always getting new information for things. And I think it's kind of sucks that people get pigeonholed to certain things. So like I was talking with my girl, and she was talking about, Biden put all these people into jail.
The same thing for Kamala, though.
But no, but I'm saying,
on Biden.
I got you. I know what you're talking about with Kamala Harris. I'll circle back to that, because she's it's her own separate case with her. When it comes to Biden, my thing is, like, people didn't I grew up, like, I was born in '89, so I didn't get to see the '70s and the '80s. I got the end of the 90s where, you start remembering stuff and noticing, drugs and bad stuff and shit like that. But like in 94, like 95, when they passed the crime bill, the 70s and 80s, we had the crack era. We had New York was like 42nd Street
fire, bro.
Wasn't what it was that it is today. Fordham Road was worse than what it is today. All the
Well, I don't know about now, because now New York is New York is reverting back to what it used to be like.
It's true, but what I'm saying is, like, 90s, you're trying to get all these people who are doing drugs, selling drugs, off the street because we didn't have a lot of information. So remember, even marijuana, people were like, "Oh, it's a gateway drug to do crack and to do to do coke and to do heroin and all these things." And then with new studies and stuff like that, is all right. Bullshit. Marijuana is actually really good for you. It's good for anxiety. It's good for to sleep. It's good for.
If you have cancer, it opens up your appetite. If you have problems sleeping, maybe it puts you to ass to bed. If you're aggro, maybe it chills you the fuck out.
Exactly.
Like, scientifically, I mean, I think, especially with the CBD component of cannabis.
So my thing with Biden is what, like, people try to hold the crime bill against him is like, you can't hold the crime bill against him. They thought at that time, in that moment of time, they were doing something right for the country. And I think now, 10 years, 20 years later, I think they'd be like, all right, cool. Hey, guys, at that time, this was the statistics. This was what was happening. This is how many deaths, drug deals, blah, 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 blah. Now we could change that. You should reform and move forward. But I won't condemn him for that. Now, Kamala Harris, on the other hand, she was caught hiding evidence to keep people in jail. Like, she was.
See, it's so funny. The only thing I heard about Kamala, she put a lot of black men in prison for marijuana specifically. But please unpack this, because I love how not only diverse your knowledge is, but how much you know about specific topics, especially like this. So please. So now she was not found guilty, but allegedly, supposedly incriminating more. So if
she was putting somebody on trial, whatever, and there was evidence against that person to either set them free or to incriminate them, she would weigh on whichever one just to keep her record spotless. Which most prosecutors do, and kind of sucks because they don't get in trouble after the fact.
Right.
Because so she has been caught, because Tulsi Gabbard called her out on that. She was like, yo, she likes to put people in jail. She hides evidence. She stacks evidence on. She'll block the defense from putting evidence in to say their client is innocent. So she was keeping people in jail, and that's all like known facts out there. Like, it's all known in the world, and it kind of sucks because now she's running for vice president, and to me that's a moral thing. Like, to literally go and say, all right, I'm gonna hide this evidence to affect this person's life. Now this person's life affects 5 to 6 to maybe 10 other people's lives. Let's say if this person has, obviously we talk about men here, predominantly men. Let's say if this man has 3 kids and a wife and taking care of his mom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I get you totally.
You're affecting this many people's lives. Tabitha, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thank you. She said we look good.
And we sound good too, because I'm still fucking stressing out about the crackling, but it's all good. Yeah, I know. I'm keep it. You got it, but go ahead. Keep going.
When it comes to Kamala, it's tough, and it sucks that our country, we have to be pigeonholed to these two parties. Just like Eric Weinstein was trying to do a third party, so he created a Party United, I think it's called, on Twitter, and he wanted to start a whole new third party, be a major party, and bring the left and the right together, and talk about issues and see how we could, get everything done together. Twitter goes and bans it, the account.
What?
And it was with no explanation.
Okay, so let's pause for a second. So is Jack Dorsey in control or not control? Because they were saying, I think he was talking about it on the Kanye West Joe Rogan episode, and he said it himself a lot on Joe Rogan's show, that he has a hands-off approach. I don't even know what that means. That means that you're just in charge and you like sign checks, and then there's other people in the building that actually do shit like that? Because that sounds fucked up.
I don't know, because they didn't really get into that. The only person who was kind of challenging him on it was Tim Pool, when they did that podcast together. But like, even the lawyer who he brought, Jack Dorsey, it was just a lot of, I got to check in on the record. I got to check what that is. We got to look into that. You know, we're gonna look into that. We're gonna check this. We're gonna check this. We're gonna look into that. You know, so like you ain't gonna get if they aren't trying to give straight answers. You know, and
Right, no, hell no.
supposedly Jack Dorsey's trying to be transparent and blah 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 blah.
He just went. Didn't he have to just testify like a Friday or Thursday? Or
I
Wednesday?
think so. I didn't see that one, so I can't speak to it. But
No, I get you. But I'm just saying, Homeboy's on the hook, you know, for a bunch of shit in the sense of like they're trying to make him accountable for the actions of his company.
I think if you have rogue people in your company,
right, of course,
you should get rid of them. Just like that guy, I think one of the employees, like, banned Trump. Like they canceled his account for like an hour, like 6-7 hours or whatever. But you can't have these rogue people just doing whatever. Like, it's going on. It has to be. Sorry, I think they're gonna have to do something where they're gonna have to become utilities. It's gonna have to be at the basic human right to everybody, because it makes no sense that this company can go and ban somebody just for an ideology. Because look at Alex Jones. He's banned on Twitter. He's banned on Facebook. He's banned on YouTube. And it sucks because
Alex Jones, dude.
You don't know who Alex Jones is? The guy who's like talks about how like this. He was a guy who was like the Sandy Hook shooting was BS.
Okay,
it was a conspiracy. But
he says something. He says something fly, and then everybody was like, "We ain't fucking with you no more, homeboy."
Basically,
Jesus.
Basically, but you should combat that with good speech. How like Joe Rogan says, combat that with facts. So let's say if this person says something is bullshit or fake, combat it with facts as opposed to saying, all right, I don't like what you said. You're canceled forever. You're not able to be here anymore. And that sucks. I don't think we should.
I agree.
I don't think you should ban anybody.
It's dangerous. Exactly. It goes right back to what you were saying. Like if they start taking away homeboys' rights, how much quicker will they be able to
take our rights
for us? Yes.
Our rights. And it's scary because it's kind of happening now. Like,
yeah, it totally is happening now.
Like let's say if we were on a company, you know, let's say our podcast was on a company and they owned our podcast.
Right. We'd be fucked.
And we say something that they didn't like.
You're gonna make them walk it back.
Exactly.
No.
So if I say, oh, Spanish people eat too much rice, now is that an insult? Is that a stereotype? Is that racism? You know, like you could interpret words any way you want, but I just said them. And especially when it comes in the form of text, where like Twitter,
right?
It's like
you gotta read, yeah.
There's no tonality on Twitter.
No.
So like
there's no tonality in text, period.
Exactly. So like when people are gonna take whatever they want, and
the best thing about tonality when you write it is you got to send it with a gift or an emoji.
Exactly.
That's the only reason you get more context.
Exactly.
If you just send words, you know, you're just like, what this motherfucker just said to me.
Exactly. So if I'm like, yo, like if I was to send you a message, yo, Lou, Dustin, I need you to get this shit done now. But it'll be out of love, like, yo, we got to get this shit done. We trying to get some. Yeah. But if you read it and then you having a bad day with Shorty or a bad day with the kids, all right, now he's on my ass. Like, why are you telling me to do some shit right now? I got to do it, blah, blah, blah. Like, just reading it is different. So when somebody writing something about somebody, especially Twitter just put thoughts out there. You to share your thoughts. Twitter's really loud. Just loud of a whole bunch of things going on. And I just think that it's slippery, and I don't want that to affect us. Because I had a girl who was like, "Oh, Trump should be canceled," and I'm like, no, no, I don't. I might not agree with what he's saying and how he's saying it, but he still deserves a chance to say whatever he wants without having to be threatened to be canceled, and that's how I feel about that. I don't know about you, but
the land of the free and the free speech and all that stuff. That's what I was gonna say. You know, YouTube is a phenomenal platform.
Them too.
Twitter is great,
but they're a little shaky too. YouTube, they're a little shaky.
All of them are.
To the right, but it's scary because it's to the right though. It's only to the right. It's only to the conservatives. Like it's not a lot to the left.
It's because lefties own all those companies.
That's the issue.
Right? So there's no super genius Republicans that can convince them.
But here's the issue: they are run left, but when it comes financially, they're run right.
Yes, of course, because that's that's always that same old shit. It's like, well, I'm my views are liberal, but I'm conservative when it comes to the economics of this country.
Exactly.
So, but what I was trying to say was that the Facebooks and the Twitters and the YouTubes are in a very interesting space because they've obviously a lot of them have sold our digital footprint, if you may. But now, what I like the most is I like podcasting because there is no governing voice on podcasting, right? Like there's no dude in the building saying, "Well, you're gonna get canceled for saying that shit," or
if you are
it's only if you post it on one of those platforms and someone sees it.
But that's the issue. Everything is posted everywhere. Because even on YouTube could go and say that's hate speech.
Right.
YouTube could go and just say your thing is hate speech. Me bringing up Alex Jones could be hate speech. We spoke about somebody who they don't like and somebody who they view as giving negative thoughts out.
That shit kind of sucks now too, because like if you're trying to say something different and you get silenced, again, it goes right back to what we were saying. That becomes very dangerous, man.
And it sucks because what is the rival to YouTube?
Nothing.
So now let's say if your whole livelihood and money is coming from YouTube.
Yep. Thank God for companies like Patreon, where you now don't have to use YouTube to
for sure, but that's gonna take time.
For sure. So is YouTube though, because now I think even YouTube fucked people a little bit in the fact of the demonetization.
Exactly.
Right? And then, these new rules.
Like Steven Crowder. You know who Steven Crowder is?
Nah. Tell me what this
Steven
means.
Crowder he's a conservative, but he jokes. He's the one. I don't know if you've ever seen the memes where it says, "America's not racist. Prove me wrong."
Okay, he sounds familiar. He might have been on Rogan.
He was on Rogan. His name is Steven Crowder, and his whole entire channel got demonetized.
Wow.
So he'll do segments.
Why he was getting hot on the block?
Because they don't like what he's saying.
I know. What was some of the things that
so they had a segment that says there's only two genders. Prove me wrong. And
that's kind of. I think that's kind of slick to say shit like that, and then
But to me, it's
the conversation.
But it is true. There's only two genders. Like
right.
it's a slippery slope when somebody says, "Oh no, there's not two genders. There's 77 genders." Where, like we can't pick and choose science to when it benefits us, and math. So it's like we're trying to say, like even they were saying like Eric Weinstein when he was on Joe Rogan, they were saying how like they were trying to come after academia. And saying math is
I did hear this. I did hear this guy. This guy was brilliant.
How math is a social construct and is a white supremacist thing.
Yeah, isn't that wild? Or they were saying that they weren't hiring enough, like blacks as scientists. So they were just saying some crazy shit, bro.
It's tough. It's so tough. It's just that it's like the whole thing with the California thing where they want to force to put 2 women on the board. Like, why are you forcing people to do things?
Well, that's that Hollywood shit though. Now, because now
for sure. But they're trying to do these weird things where they're forcing people to do things that you shouldn't be forced to do. So like us, let's say for whatever reason they said, all right, YouTube comes and says, hey, you have 2 males, you have to have a woman.
Right. That wouldn't be too bad, but I get you.
No, it wouldn't be bad. I would love it. But what I'm saying is that they forced us to do that. Would be the crazy part.
Yeah, no, of course. Right. No, but like I said, it's already happening. It's like they're slowly doing it to us and look, I grew up, and I'll steal something out of Kanye West's book. I grew up watching Superman, and Superman was a white guy. I would have loved for there to be like a Latino or a black superhero.
That's why the Spider-Verse was dope. Homeboy was Spanish.
Miles Morales is amazing concept. Latino and black. But now the criteria is, okay, we got to make every superhero black. The Latinos get no love, but every superhero's got to be black. And then if it's a woman, she's got to be black, lesbian, and I forget what the other criteria is. But it's like those are the things now that they want to push to bring it to the other side, where they think that it's making things equal. But I don't know. It's such a hard thing to say, right? Because I always think of Bruce Lee. Oh my God, I sound like Kanye West, but I think of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee's biggest thing that was a hang up for him was he didn't see Asians as like the heroes in most movies, right? And there still hasn't really been a huge Asian, guy. I mean, you could argue Jackie now, maybe Jet Li, but not to the Rock status. You don't got Jackie Chan making $54 fucking million a film, right? How about a Latino? What fucking Latinos do we got, right? I mean, the Rock is weird because he's in this like beige brown Hawaiian kind of space. So I don't think like I shouldn't say claimed by the blacks, but representing, the black culture like that. Because I mean, I think it was, I forget what the young lady was who did the help, but she was pissed off that she did the help, and she was just saying how she's like taking jobs and not. I mean, the equal pay thing is interesting, and the equality thing is interesting. It just seems force fed when you're trying to put it on everything.
Well, here's the issue with that is that has been proven, and that's a myth. I don't know if you know that. So what happens with that is most women take like healthcare industry jobs and lower paying jobs because they don't want to do dangerous work. So like most men will go and do dangerous work. Most men will do overtime. Most men will relocate. Most women don't like to relocate because of family. Most women like, yo, I'm out. I'm going to North Dakota. I'm gonna go digging some holes or some shit. What's going on, Rudy? What's going on, Calvin?
Yes, my guy Rudy. What's up, Rudy? What's up, T? I see you, Calvin. Much love, Alberto. Good looking for all of y'all coming in and hanging out. Yeah, I was here on the lows, sending the feed to everybody.
Hey, Tabby, thanks. I appreciate that. So when it comes to the page gap, right? The equal page gap is the thing is that men are there when the income comes in. Men are more likely to work 40% more overtime than women because women will go home and take care of the kids and stuff like that. So let's say if me and another woman was at the same position, right? So now let's say if I was a senior exec and I was there for 5 years and I made $120,000 and a woman was coming into another senior exec position, she's going to get paid $100,000. I'm getting paid $120,000. And they'll say that's income inequality. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I'm listening to you. I got you.
So when those stats come out, they'll say, "Oh, well, he's getting more money than her, and they have the same title and the same position." But there's not into account he's been there for 5 years, and she just started. So like my girl was trying to say, "Yeah, it's not right," blah 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 blah, and I had to talk to her, and I was like, "Let me tell you something. So if you mean to tell me, if you were at your job, which you are now, and you're about to be the boss, and you were there for 5 years, right?" And you making $150,000, and they hired somebody new, and they started paying them $150,000 just like you. Would you like that? No, that's what she told me. So I'm like, okay, so it's the same thing, but they're using those statistics and stats to try to skew it.
Right. No, this is all fucked up. The analytics, the same way they put it into baseball, they're putting it into real life, and it's just like I said, it just feels like they're forcing us to eat something that I don't want to say it doesn't make sense because it kind of makes sense. It's just I feel like they're overdoing it, so it just seems more egregious, right?
I think if they're just honest with this, again, we go right back to honesty. Just be honest with the data, be honest with people, and that's it. Like you have, all right, if you give an experiment, and they've done this before. If you give 2 kids, one boy and one girl, a cell phone, right? Mm-hmm. You give the boy a cell phone, he's going to do 2 things. He's going to play games on it, and he's going to watch porn on it. Nice. That's what boys are going to do. Girls, Instagram, Twitter, pictures, selfies, TikTok dancing, all this stuff where kids are going to do, the genders are going to do what intrigues them. Obviously, I'm just speaking in generalities. And obviously, there's an exception to the rule for everybody. You're going to have boys who's going to want to take selfies, you're going to blah, 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 blah. But we're talking about in generalities here. Because the data shows that those are where kids in those sexes, that's what they do when they get technology. And it's just that's what they like to do. So like me, I liked playing video games growing up. I liked playing sports. I didn't want to play with dolls. I didn't want to go play with makeup. Didn't want to put dresses on because I was a boy. And what my interests was techie things, building things, towers and Legos and things along those lines. I didn't want castles or anything like that. I want to do what, like just natural instinct of what I wanted to do. But now it's like they're trying to force girls to do this or force boys to do this. And it's just like you're confusing these kids who are innocent, and just let everything be natural and natural instincts. Because you have most women who want to be nurses. Why? Because they just as a natural instinct to take care of somebody and be there and try to nurture people. And boys they're different. They want to do more. Go see if you could dig this rock out the floor. Let's eat this dirt. Let's push. Hey, let's play manhunt. Like let's jump off. Hey, we could jump out of. Yeah, let's jump. Let's jump off this 10-story. This 10-foot wall. Like we're gonna do stupid things, and I think we're just putting too many generalities and forcing kids to do things that they don't want to do. Like I would like my biggest oldest daughter. She loves science and she loves math and she loves building and inventing things, and that's all her. I never forced her to do any of those things. She likes that stuff. And now my little one is into super duper duper girly stuff, makeup, lipstick, chain, the little necklaces, dresses, the heels, playing with Barbie dolls. She'll say, "Oh, I want to build the two," but she'll do it for 5 minutes and go back to do what she likes to do. Wow. And I think that's a tough part. I think you could introduce these things to kids, and if they gravitate towards these things, let them do it. But if they don't gravitate to them, don't force them. Don't say, "Hey, you a girl and you should go be an engineer because we don't have enough women engineers." It's just not something they gravitate to. And
I think that's what you were talking about with that guy. I forget what his name was, but that was pretty much his argument, right? Like certain people, let's put it like that, have different interests. And, if you created some loophole that basically most people that study science are usually predominantly white, that's just something that they might have gotten interested in younger on, or more. I think a lot of it also boils down to education, because I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. Like we grew up in the Bronx, and a lot of our schools were not as funded as well as maybe other schools in other districts. But when I come out here into California, they have a lot more to offer in the sense of different courses, even in, the early on, like high school and like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, that we didn't have the opportunities to. So, like I said, I just like having these conversations because it's important to at least discuss it and see how people feel. And everybody's entitled to an opinion, and not like they're assholes in the sense of having one like everyone. But I think that we need to come back. Like you talk about honesty. I've been really keen on saying that we need to start having honest conversations with each other and talk about it. Not say, well, I'm this and this and you're that and that, so now we can't talk. We can't be friends. We can't agree to disagree.
Pick sides and like, all right, I'm on a team and there's a tribe, and I'm gonna agree with this tribe on this side. I want to be with these people, and I don't care what the opposing person has to say, and just be at odds for things we don't need to be at odds about. Like my girlfriend's pops loves Trump, and I don't hate Trump, but I don't agree with how he does what the things he's doing, but I still respect her father. I'm still going to talk to her father. We're still going to have conversations about things.
Well, that was a weird thing that kind of happened too, right? So I feel like it kind of started a little bit with the Obama administration. Like Democrats became bullies, and I don't mean like the politicians. I mean like the people that follow them, right? So like now, if you're a Trump fan and someone's a Democrat, they'll try to belittle you all they can, and try to oppose their will on you to convince you why you shouldn't be a Trump supporter. If it is what it is, if you like it, then you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't know why everybody has to think the same.
The issue is that people like that are the radical left it's a emotional thing, not an irrational thing. It's an irrational thing where they have to feel like they're winning. They have to have people think just like them, and that's how it shouldn't be. If I make a point and I give all the facts and all the data and the support for what I'm saying, and you agree with it, cool. If you disagree with it, you disagree with it. But you shouldn't hate me for that, or I shouldn't hate you for that. We should be, all right, I agree to disagree. Just like I was having a conversation with a few of my friends, I think buying a house is one of the worst investments to make if you're trying to get wealth at a mass. Because a house is a liability. How
Sure,
a house
but
doesn't pay you.
the problem is that renting is also a waste of money.
Yes and no, depending on what your goal is, why you're renting. In a
Okay,
sense.
let's look at this
So
more.
let's unpack it. All right. So let's say if you're trying to get generational wealth and get into the real estate and try to make big income like jumps, right? So now if you get a house, right? You buy a house and it's a 30-year fixed mortgage, right? And it's that you're working at, let's say, what a lot of people, let's just, for instance, people working in the restaurant industry, right? So now you got these waiters, let's say for the instance, just whatever, working at these really high-end restaurants who are making maybe $1,000 to $2,000 a week with tips because they're working at a fancy high-end restaurant, right? Now they have a mortgage. Now something like they could either be fired or something that happened right now with the pandemic. That income is gone. Now you're at a liability because the property isn't paying you.
Right.
So that's why it's a liability. Now, let's say if you were working at there making $2,000, $3,000, let's say, or $4,000 a month, let's say whatever the case may be, and you went and got a FHA loan, that's 3.5% down, and you got it on a property, which is you could get it on a duplex or quad or fourplex, whatever the case may be, and you put, say it was 100,000, you only got to put 3.5% down on that.
Right. Yes.
So now you're gonna have 4 doors. So now think of those doors as 4 income streams.
Right. Yeah. No, I got you.
What I'm saying is that if you want to make generational jumps, buying a house is not the way to do it. It's gonna take you a long time to make these generational jumps. Now, if you have money coming in from your job, or like big sums of money, then okay. But if you're trying to make these big jumps with minimal or like getting paid 40 or 50 grand a year, buying a house wouldn't be the right smart investment for you to buy, because if you lose your job, you're not getting anything from it.
What if you're able to like buy the house and then move people in immediately, where you turn the depreciating, I mean, it's not considered really a depreciating asset, but when you qualify it as a liability, I feel like if you could move some motherfuckers in, then they could cover the rent.
Yes and no, but now what if that so here's the issue, right? So now you have one door. You buy the house, you rent that house out, that family loses their job, no income's coming in, right? You're not getting any income. You have to pay that property tax, and those people could stay in your house for maybe 4 to 5 to 6 months fighting you in court. Now you got to pay court dues. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, it is a trip. It is a trip. It makes me think about how long Zuck stood as a renter.
I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys. Elon Musk right now is saying, I want to get rid of everything.
My man is on a whole nother page. I love my guy.
Yeah, he's going to the extreme. But I'm just saying to make big jumps for things, or if you get like if you get lucky,
you're basically saying that if you're trying to like stack cash, it's probably not a good idea to buy a home.
Correct. One door home. Now, if you're gonna do like if you're buying and flipping, obviously you're gonna get those big chunks of money in 60 to 90 days or 120 days. But if you're trying to do it from one house, live in that one house, or rent it out and stay somewhere else, because now you gotta think about it. Let's say you buy a house, right? You're paying it down. You have your own job. Now, if you get another house and you rent that house out, now what if those people don't get a job or lose their job? Now you have 2 mortgages as opposed to 1 mortgage. So it's a lot of...
Yeah, no, it is a lot.
It's a lot.
Trust me, bro, I'm pushing 40 and I don't own a home for a larger reason of that, right? Because
exactly. There's a lot of upkeep. There's a lot of things that people don't talk about when it comes to a house. Yeah, houses
but it's
are dope.
different too. I feel like when you look at some of these other places like the Arizonas of the world and the Texases of the world, when your mortgage is going to be as low as your rent...
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Then it makes more sense. Being in California, being in New York, where the taxes are high. I'm sure the taxes are high on owning a home.
For sure. But here's my only issue when I have with houses, right? So I think it's the biggest crook it can happen. And say you pay your house down, right? And say you paid 30 years, you pay your mortgage, you did what you did, pay it down. Now let's say when you get older and you didn't save your money the right way, or you don't have enough money coming in, and you can't pay your property taxes, the state can come and take your fucking home, even if you paid that shit off through the bank, because you still have to pay them property taxes.
I know that.
how to me, I don't. That doesn't make any sense to me. Where you're gonna say I paid off my 30-year mortgage, I paid it off 30 years, and in the first 12 years you're not even paying off the mortgage, you're paying the bank.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. You definitely gotta come if you're gonna buy a house. You better come with a large lump sum.
Correct. And that
That
like
way
again,
you can
it's different for everybody. I'm just talking about big generations of wealth you're trying to make. So like I like Grant Cardone's method where you go and you get 32 doors. That's 32 streams of income that you look at it. 25 doors, 25 streams of income.
What are you saying? Like buy
an apartment building.
Yeah.
You could find those people if you say if you find 32 doors and $1 million. You make sure you go. You go and you only got to put 20% down.
What if like if I was gonna give you the same argument that you were saying, if you're trying to build that generation wealth, what happens if everybody moves out and then you're fucked?
That's a doomsday scenario. Like
so you're saying that a home thing is more likely less doomsday, but more doomsday if
you buy a single door is more doomsday because it's less variables. Because if most apartment buildings are always operating at 90%. They're rarely gonna fall under 50. When do you ever see somebody in an apartment building and it's like 10 people?
Right, never.
Unless
it just opened.
So like when you go in to buy a building anyway, you're gonna go in there saying, all right, my worst case scenario is if I have this building at 45% capacity, I'm breaking even.
Right.
And banks, when you go to get a loan on rental properties, the bank has to do their own evaluation, and they don't give you the loan unless it's gonna make money.
Yeah, no. I know that they don't fuck around with that shit.
So, especially for commercial properties, they go and they send their own evaluation. Yeah, even if it's not even millions of dollars, just they want to make sure the loan that they're giving you is turning a profit. They're not gonna give you money. Let's say if you buy a building and they go and they're gonna go check it out and be like, hey, this building has like 4 busted pipes, or the foundation's broken. But we're gonna give you the money anyway. That's not how they do that. They're gonna be like, hey, we can't give you a loan because the foundation's fucked up. The location has a high crime rate. Whatever these pipes have a cancer in them or some shit. They're gonna protect their investment that they're giving you for high property, like for a multifamily. So that's the way I look at it anyway. Because I want to build big stacks of generational wealth. So that's like stuff I've been reading up on. Because when I come into contact with money, I want to know what I do with that money as opposed to not.
No, I agree. One of my favorite books is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yep.
And I think he goes into big depth about, basically not renting to own or buying to own, but buying to rent, right? And creating streams of income so that way you can have more freedom to do other things. And if a couple streams collapse, you still have a couple of more streams, right? And if something like you were just saying operates at 90%, then you can take a couple losses. It's not going to totally kill you. But if you're the only dude on the reservation with the home and the home goes down, then you're kind of fucked because that was your only stream of income if you were using it from a rental perspective. This conversation is getting super duper heavy, and I want to get more fun. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the kind of stuff that you guys are going to be exposed to on this live show. We're going to be all over the place. We're going to be talking a lot of politics, a lot of news, a lot of current events. But our favorite thing is going to be sports centric. I mean, we started to feed out with the MLB, but there's some games that are going to be happening this Sunday, bro.
For sure.
I didn't get to finish watching the game last night. Did you see the game?
I saw some of it. I saw mostly highlights.
Bro, did you see that stiff arm?
Yes. Get off me, dogs. And then you hear the whole... Did you hear the crowd? The crowd was even screaming.
My starting team, he only fucking got me 7 points. But, boy, did you see the catch he did, too?
The DJ Moore? You talking about the one on the right side? Up to Yep.
Homeboy's a filthy. Teddy, too. I mean, I told you this, though. It's sad. First of all, the Atlanta win or the Carolina win?
Atlanta won the game.
Right. So, I think that Atlanta... just had a lot of bad breaks, because they could arguably be
7-0,
6-0, 7-0. Yes, 100%. They've lost every game in the fourth quarter,
and that's just all on coaching. That's all coaching. Do
you really think that? I feel like some of the, it's weird. So they blanketed DJ Moore. So I'm like, okay, I think that the Atlanta Falcons have a really, really underrated defense. Now, granted, it's been exposed, and they have the record that they have, but I don't know. I've watched the games. Like, I don't know where they've missed the point. Like, they are a team that's balling. Atlanta's loaded on the low. I mean, Todd Gurley's is okay, but Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley are just filthy when it comes to receiving.
And Calvin Ridley got hurt last night.
Did he?
Yeah, he messed up his ankle.
Fuck. And the Gage was already kind of like
coming along.
But he was also kind of injured too.
Yeah.
And
then Julio's always injured. His
Right.
he farts too hard. His hamstring goes.
Well, was it you that was getting with me and saying that just the body can't handle that shit?
Yeah, he's a freak of nature, and his body's like, yo, fam, what are you doing? You're going too fast. Like, hamstring weak. Ouch.
Yeah.
Too
For
fast.
sure, bro. You can't. That's too much. It's too much. It hurts. It hurts a lot.
And I just think with the Atlanta Falcons, man, that Super Bowl really psychologically messed with them. Like, they never got out from under that major collapse.
So speaking of that, right, and we'll keep it on this. First, I know you're gonna say that you believe that Matt Ryan's overrated, but if we weren't gonna say that, is he a top 10 quarterback or lower?
All right, so we got to go to the list. So we got Russell.
You put him at number 1?
No. I'm saying.
Oh, just randomly.
I'm top 10. We're just going top 10 quarterback.
Done. Okay.
So we got.
Russ is up there for sure. Rodgers is up there for sure.
Rodgers.
Breeze is up there for sure. Patrick's up there for sure.
Ben.
You want to put Lamar? Well, Ben for sure.
Lamar.
Right. Tom. Right.
Kyler.
Cool.
Well, where are we at right now? That's 8.
You want to do Phillip?
No.
Oh, that's
no shot.
How about Kirk Cousins?
No shot. No shot.
Hold on, I gotta keep thinking about it. And there's definitely nobody in the East.
Let me go Dak.
I was gonna say Dak would probably be the only guy in the
That's 9. And then you got Jared Goff.
Nah.
So he's
you
like
take Goff over Wentz.
So you got Wentz. You got 11.
That's 11.
So I'm saying, so you got him. He's in the 10. You can say he's in the 10 to 15 range. Matt Ryan.
Bro, I would put Matt Ryan totally above fucking Carson Wentz and Goff.
Okay.
Right? Like, he would probably be 10.
And you got Matthew Stafford, who's, I think,
Matthew Stafford hasn't done jack shit. So I love you, Matthew Stafford.
Cute, but he's haven't had great coaching. Like, his coaching has sucked.
I get that too.
And remember, they make superstars quit early. All right?
No.
Barry Sanders and my man Megatron. They was like, I'm out of here.
What the fuck the Detroit Lions have done to their organization, it's a really sad day. It reminds me of my own team, but they just can't. I mean, like, for me to make an argument, like, look, Barry Sanders took the Detroit Lions to the playoffs. They got smoked, but he still took them to the playoffs. Matthew Stafford hasn't done jack shit.
He's got to the playoffs, but they haven't nothing. They've gotten slapped.
How many times? One time?
I think like once or twice.
He's never even passed the second round.
True. Yeah, right? I don't blame you. But what I'm saying is the coaching was even bad, though. Like,
no, you know what I think? This is what I think. So again, this is just my Madden brain thinking. I think that you are a way more dynamic team when you have a tight end. And I think once Gonzalez left,
Atlanta?
It became more difficult. Like, when you look at Lamar Jackson, he's got a phenomenal tight end.
Well, they went to the Super Bowl without Tony.
I know they did. But what I'm saying is that was probably the beginning of the end, right? Like, they were able to get somebody to fit into that slot, but their tight end, they don't throw to anymore. All the teams that
they use Hayden Hurst, not as like when they use Tony,
not as much. But I'm saying, like, he's your bailout guy. Your tight end is pretty much your fucking security blanket as a quarterback.
Yep.
And I think that if they would have put maybe more value into that position, they wouldn't struggle so much late in games. Because when you look at bro, Travis Kelce, Kittle, even Waller now, like, a lot of these teams are getting it, bro. You got a tight end. Look at what Gronk did for so long.
And he's doing it now. He's back.
Right, he's back. Homeboy's back. He's back. Hot fire lava. Let's go.
They started throwing to him now because remember, Bruce Arians doesn't like to throw the tight ends. So Brady's like, hold on. We got to win. We're going to win.
Yeah. I don't even know why they've been dragging their ass on that fucking play too. Because, like I'm telling you, I think in the NFL, everything is a mismatches. Right?
Yeah, of course.
And
chess.
A tight end is a mismatch for sure against a DB.
Human chess.
For sure against a safety. And good luck if he's fast against a linebacker.
Yep.
Because that's going to be a cover nightmare. right? Like, look at how, I don't know if you watched that Tampa game. Gronk was balling.
Yep.
It looked like old Gronk.
It
He
did.
was almost, if he would have played his cards right and Brady would have been a little bit more accurate, he missed 2 TDs extra to Gronkowski in that game.
And now that offense is going to be like, it's going to be one-on-one matchups everywhere. You can't
Yeah,
go, you can't double nobody.
on that team. No, you're fine.
And Ronald Jones, that means he's going to eat.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can't stack 8 in the box.
Bro, imagine like Arians and Byron just licking their chops on how you're gonna draw it up where you could streak Evans, you could streak Brown, and then Godwin, Jones, and Gronkowski just eat the middle up all day long.
Scotty Miller just running
Yeah,
around there.
Scotty Miller, their other rook too.
Yep.
Like they're loaded on offense. They're
and
really
the defense is loaded too.
right. A lot of people don't talk about their defense, bro. JPP and Dominican Sue, and I always forget. I always fuck up this guy's name, but there's a linebacker that they have on that team. That's
Devontae David,
unbelievable,
beast.
unbelievable.
And
One of
the white kid. I forgot his name. Not the white boy skin color. His name is White. I think Davion White or DeAndre White, something White.
is he a DB or a linebacker?
He's
too?
a linebacker too, but he's like a hybrid. Like he's real. He's like, he reminds me a little bit like Cam Chancellor. Like but they have him as a linebacker. Like he's number 39. Like it's a weird number. Like I'm telling you, he's a beast. Let me look at his name up.
I started Tampa's D, and I'm definitely starting Tampa's D this week against the fucking G-men, bro. The G-men are fucking trash.
For sure.
I can't believe they're so bad.
They're gonna destroy him. They're gonna destroy us. Devin White, that's his name. 45 is his number. Inside
Nice.
linebacker. He's an inside linebacker, but he looks big, but like he's like
Agile. Yes, I get what you're saying. I know like how Cam looked, because Cam was like, "What the fuck is that?" And then
So
homeboy
imagine
had,
like a little shorter, and just like moving like Cam,
yeah.
all over the field. So
Yeah, they're getting good, especially at the right time. I mean, so Antonio plays this week, right?
yeah, they said he might play week 9, right? Because this is week 9 coming up.
Nah, we are at week 8.
Yeah, so they're gonna. I think aren't they in a bye? No, they're not in a bye this week. They play the G-men.
They don't got to buy for a hot minute. I think they got to
Yeah.
buy like week 13. I'm writing that defense all the way out. I'm writing
For
Brian
sure.
Suckup, who's their kicker. I'm writing Gronk. If I could get any more fucking Tampa Bay players, I would. I can't believe I passed on Brady. Well, I didn't pass on him. I just waited too long and someone took him.
For sure.
Because he's been just everything that you want to be from a quarterback.
I think Pro Football Focus has him 3rd quarterback.
Wow.
I think it's Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and
Shit.
he's in. It's crazy because we're in unprecedented waters with Tom Brady because he's 43, man, 42.
Is that a fact?
Yep, he's
So
43.
he's the oldest quarterback ever played then, right?
I think Warren Moon played till 44.
Shout out to my man Warren Moon.
Yep.
You're amazing, dog. I love you.
I think
Every
he
time I
made the
talk to
Pro
you,
Bowl
you're
his
a
last season too, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh,
He was a
Warren?
beast. Warren Moon, yep, and
Yeah,
he was
he was phenomenal.
and he was
I had a
forced
chance
to
I
play
worked for
CFL.
Warren. He was great. It was awesome. His football IQ is through the roof.
Yep.
In the sense of like what you need to think about how to win. I mean, he pretty much put the Houston Oilers on his back. Much,
and remember, he was forced to play in a CFL.
Yeah, right. Like who would have known what he would have been like if he came right into the NFL and had success? He very similar to like Aaron McNair. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just the whole team is the quarterback.
Yep.
But yeah. Let's take a look. I don't know how we're gonna chop this up. But
What do you think about the game of the week? What do you think is the game?
Tell me. I want to hear.
I think Pittsburgh Baltimore is the game of the week,
For sure. I can't wait to watch that game.
and I want to see Seattle versus San Francisco.
All right, hold on. Let me look. I'm looking. So that's one for sure.
All the other games.
I don't really care about Seattle, San Francisco. That game is gonna stink.
You think so?
I want to see Raiders in Cleveland, bro. That's gonna be fire because
Okay.
those two teams got no fucking defense, and it's just gonna be high scoring. And it's the Browns, bro. Who would have fucking thought the Browns would be 5-2, bro?
Yep, it's crazy.
I'm telling you right now, and I said it before. I said it when I was I had an episode with Josh Booty. Actually, I said it after. It shouldn't, because I was a little apprehensive, but I'm all in on Baker Mayfield. I think he's the real deal.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I got to see him do it against the
But
good
it's
teams.
hard though. Look, the thing is, I think
I know it's hard, but I got to see a flash of it against the good
sure,
teams.
sure, sure. But this is the thing I think that Baker struggles with. Baker hasn't really figured out to play his size in the NFL. He's a smaller dude.
So you
And
got to
I
go
think-
watch all Russell Wilson stuff, like all of it, everything.
Breeze, right?
Mhm.
You know, smaller guys that have been super successful. But I just don't know, like when you're talking about organizations and you're talking about, coaches and stuff like that, I just don't know how much they provide for the Browns to win. Now I got to get my guy Josh back because I feel like he has a little bit more understanding of how this goes because he's a former LSU quarterback and I know he's got plugs with Landry and Beckham. But I don't know. I think for right now, look, no one came into the season thinking they were going to do anything, right? You can argue that the year that they had all that pressure on them, they folded. But I still think being the number 1 overall pick, you're still going to have pressure on you. And he's still producing.
But
I mean,
the issue too is what we got to. Well,
and
the
they
issue,
pulled out that pass that week.
for sure, but it's against the Bengals, which I don't want to take. Like it's still a pass. It's the Bengals, which everybody throws a fucking party on.
Well,
So
you
like,
could also argue the defense gave up like 35.
exactly to a rookie. So like, do it against Kansas City. Like do it against the good teams. Like last year they beat the Steelers. Okay, cool. Big Ben wasn't there. Like they had Delvin Hodges and homeboy who thought he was a gangster to Mason Rudolph. He thought he was Kung Fu Panda was gonna fight homeboy. And you like, I get it. Like if he beats bad teams, cool. Then you're gonna be in the category with Dak Prescott and Josh Allen and Carson Wentz. You're gonna be in that category. And if you're gonna take the next step and the next thing, you have to beat the good teams. And the thing with him is like when he struggles against the good teams, he goes into a shell. And then when he beats the bad teams, he's like, "Look at me! I proved everybody wrong. Oh, I'm the best."
Isn't that the same shit that fucking Kirk Cousins does? Fucking Kirk Cousins gets
again-
smoked. It's like every time he wins, you like that?
Exactly.
You like that?
But again, we're talking about Kirk Cousins. Like,
Right.
you understand what I'm saying? Like, he'll be in that category. He'll be in the category with Kirk Cousins, which
Well, I
is
thought he was in a worse category. That's
no,
what I
for
was
sure. Because
thought he was
you
gonna be in a
can't
terrible
do nothing when you
category.
got 4 head coaches and 4
Right.
offensive coordinators.
correct.
Like,
And that's
no,
what Josh talked about too.
Yeah.
The consistency and the congruency
sure.
of that team and what they've provided. I mean, technically, he's learned 4 different playbooks out of
exactly.
college.
And he got put into a bad situation with Odell, which I love Odell. And I just think Odell needed a more veteran, polished
That's not true
QB.
because he had fucking Eli. But was it because Eli's soft?
No, but he produced with Eli. What is what I'm saying? They had a
He only
connection.
produced with Eli because Eli Manning is fucking crazy, and Eli Manning throws jump balls no matter what.
For sure, but he came down with a lot of them.
Well,
gave
I mean, you're also talking about like one of the most,
Oh, for sure. But what I'm
jump
saying is
ball
like
fucking
you
guys.
you would think at the end of Eli's career and the beginning of Baker's career, Baker's a better quarterback.
right. Yes,
But he
100%.
struggled to get Odell the ball.
I think he also struggled to get Odell the ball because the way they were drawing it up. Like, was it you
sure.
that I was talking to? No, I think it was a Jets fan that I was talking to, and we were talking about like, why is Jamison Crowder the third read on the play? Right. So like, if you and me play Madden, right, and we'll just use, let's say for example, just because it's a household name, we play with the Falcons. We're gonna do everything possible to get Julio Jones the ball.
Exactly. And
Right,
that's
like-
another, like I said, we spoke about that before. And it's like, how doesn't Julio get 15 to 20 touchdowns a year?
100%. 100%.
Like, for whatever reason, he just has a weird thing where you don't get him the ball. Look at, to me, underrated, one of the best wide receivers in the game, and he's been that for maybe the last 5 years. It's DeAndre Hopkins.
For sure. He's
Done it with every single quarterback.
The
Tom
backup
Savage,
quarterback.
Brock Osweiler. Like,
Yeah.
and Brock Osweiler was a horrible QB.
Oh
you
my
know?
God, that I've seen that dude live.
Yeah, like
Wow,
he
terrible.
and he still put up 1,000-yard seasons with that guy, Tom Savage, Matt Schaub, like all these guys. He did this. He did that, and I think it's just like it's a weird connection, or maybe the coaching staff is like, "Yo, if you see Julio double, don't throw him the ball." But those guys, you have to throw them the ball in double coverage, triple coverage.
100%.
Randy Moss did that.
Megatron, bro.
Yeah, like-
that's one thing at least I gotta say when bringing it back to show a little kudos and a little love to Stafford. He got that. He didn't give a fuck what the X's and O's was. He's like, yo, puppy, go and run as fast as you can to the back of the end zone. I'm gonna fucking chuck that shit and just go get it.
Look at when he caught the game winner. But whenever he caught it, came down, landed, but then he put it on the floor to hold himself up.
That was a touchdown.
That was
fuck
a fucking touchdown. Yep. Because
he broke the plane. It didn't matter what the fuck he did with the ball.
Exactly. But right there, he gave him a chance to win the game.
Right. Yes.
And that's all you could do. Make sure you give your team a chance to win the game.
And I think also too, some of these play callers, I think they get a little conservative. It might have been you that I was talking to about this too. You should be taking a deep shot every few downs, no matter what.
For sure.
Especially with the chances of people fucking accidentally running into the receiver. It's like automatic flags now. Every time a guy is streaking down the field because the NFL wants big points, and if you fucking bump into the receiver in any way possible.
Mm-hmm. And you just got to make sure your O-line can hold up for that. That's the issue. Is the O-line is to be able to hold up for those kind of things. You do, I guess, max protect, and you have put two running backs back there and have them both just stay there to block and have one guy just go deep. But I think you gotta figure out a way to get your playmakers the ball, because like even Big Ben, when Big Ben had Antonio Brown, he targeted him 16 times a game.
Bro, he didn't. But that's another thing too. Like Ben gets it too. It's like I'm just gonna throw the rock. Like
even Michael Thomas. Look at Drew Brees and Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Like you got to get your playmakers the ball.
Talk about coaching. Sean Payton totally understands that. Let me get my ball to the guys.
And
what was it, 2 weeks ago? He took the ball out of fucking Breeze's hands to put it into the backup Tatum's hands, and Tatum ran it in. Like he has no problem. Like I don't care if you even Drew Brees. We got to get the ball to the guy's gonna score. Exactly. That's it, right? Like and even what I found fascinating, the little bit I watched about the Panthers game. I don't know how much you watch, but now they're even getting it where it's like, why don't we just line the wide receiver up in the H-back and then directly snap the ball to homeboy within the 10-yard line and let him do some work?
Yep. That new play that they're doing a lot, which I think they got from Kyle Shanahan, is the McVay, where the wide receiver, the speedy receiver comes back and there's a motion and they hike it and give it to him, and then they run like
shoot that fucking Odell, took it to the house.
Exactly. Even though it was just the Cowboys.
Right. That was terrible. Also, it was terrible tackling because homeboy should have had him in the backfield.
Yep. And you got the two guys that ran out of bounds.
Right.
Like my man, look at my man DK Metcalf when he called Buda Baker. Like, where you going, Buda? Yeah. How you call up to him and tackled him. Like, you can't teach that. You can't teach effort and winning plays. And on that series that the Cardinals got the ball, the Seahawks 4-and-out. Yep. They didn't score a point. So imagine if that was the Cowboys, Buda Baker would have scored on that because none of the Cowboys would have chased him down. I don't see Amari Cooper for sure not doing that. For sure. I don't see Michael Gallup or CeeDee Lamb running their ass off to get back and tackle the DB from scoring a touchdown. To switch gears with the...
Yeah, by the way, I want to say shout out to my man Rudy Batista. He's dropping knowledge on the feed.
Yeah, for sure. I seen that.
Thanks, Rudy, for checking us out and coming through and supporting the feed. He was a great interview. This guy is amazing. And just a great dad, a great man. It was a pleasure. We got to get you back on the show soon, my friend.
For sure.
What are we switching? What are we switching gears here to now?
Rumor mill. We're staying in the NFL, but we're switching teams.
Oh, okay.
Rumor mill.
Who's getting traded?
Amari Cooper.
To
the Packers.
Why would they do that?
Because now you have Devontae and Cooper.
No. It makes total sense for Green Bay. Why would you do that if you're Dallas?
You get out on the salary cap for next year. You get out from under the contract of Cooper because
this is what I don't understand. Now, why the fuck do you sign these guys then?
But that's like because they thought it would he was dynamic. Dak was
dynamic. So then keep him on the team, bro. If Dak didn't get injured, that team is fucking loaded. I don't know what happened to Zeke.
For sure.
I don't know what's going on with homeboy.
They're
stacked. Even your boy, it's not Escobar, is it? It's hold on, don't tell me. Schultz.
Dan Schultz. Yeah, he was balling too.
Great. Yeah, so like, why would you give Dak less weapons?
Well, they're gonna try to get back. Remember, the O line is kind of done. Like, they went from being one of the best O lines in football. So
everybody retired and got old.
And Frederick had that weird disease.
Yeah, that's
was like in the spine, which just sucks for him. Tyron Smith can't stay healthy for nothing.
Well, he's older now. So
and the only guy who's consistent is Zach Martin, and even he got hurt. Lyle Collins got hurt. Like the O line's getting old. The O line's expensive, and now the O line is doo doo. So when you have a doo doo O line, basically, doo doo O line, you can't run the ball. Like it's hard to run the ball. It's hard to pass protect when you got a doo doo O line. And
that makes sense. I'm not gonna argue with any of that.
You know what I'm saying? And then like if you could get out from under his contract, you open up that salary cap, and you could.
Listen, you got CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, like it looks like he's gonna be fine.
So you got Michael Gallup could be the 1, CeeDee Lamb will be your 2, and then you got those other 2 receivers that the Brown kid and the
bro. If
something
Cooper
right,
goes to the fucking Green Bay, holy shit,
that would be insane.
Yes,
they go into the NFC Championship game.
They're gonna go to the NFC Championship, or they'll make an argument for the NFC Championship game, in my opinion, no matter what. There's just too much fire. As long as Adams is healthy,
that's the thing. Now he's another guy. He's always getting hurt and nicked. So if you get Omari, you have another number 1 who's the number 2.
Right.
You know, you match Omari with Rodgers, who's way better than Dak.
Who are they gonna give up? It'll be like player for player, or they want to
picks.
Yeah. Like, they don't give up players.
What it doesn't mean you give 2 first-round picks or 2 second-round. I would give like 2 second-round picks, and whatever. 'Cause remember, you're like getting picks and also getting the contract off the books.
Right. Yeah.
So like it evens out, because then you'll save that $20 million next year in salary cap space, because next year's salary cap is gonna be fucked because of COVID. So instead of it going up how it normally was, it's gonna go down because the revenue went down. So now salary cap next year is going to be even tighter. So it makes sense. It makes sense. And get Rodgers pieces. Win now. Like you got to get homeboy pieces.
I forget. I read an article that potentially was arguing that the Packers might have wasted a good portion of
for sure
career because they haven't really dug deep enough to get him guys to win immediately.
Yeah, for sure they wasted.
This though. He better figure out how the fuck he gonna do that against the Seahawks, because I'm picking the Seahawks to play in the NFC Championship game all day.
The thing is that the Seahawks got to figure out how to stop somebody. Like their defense is, like their back 4 is bad.
Did they lose to AZ last week? No,
yes,
right?
They did. Yep.
Damn, they lost to them too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Russ, poor Russ. See, that's another thing.
That's another thing.
I see guys like Russell Wilson. And I go, and I love Pete Carroll, but I'm like, are you guys giving this dude the tools he needs to continue to win? I mean, I like Carlson. I like Chris Carlson. I like DK Metcalf. I always get the other receiver
Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, Lockett's it's great, but I don't know. Is the offensive line shitty? Are the DBs shitty?
The DBs suck. The offensive line is like bottom 30. They're like the worst, one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And the thing is, it sucks to say, but like high-paying quarterbacks don't normally win. Right. They just don't.
Yes. Because
that's too much money at one position, and you lose other positions. You lose other key pieces.
I don't know. I know everybody talks about, or not as much, but if they're gonna talk about it, they talk about Brady and Brady taking a lot of pay cuts as a New England Patriot. And the other person that I've seen too, who has done, or I've heard of, or read of, is Ben Roethlisberger. I don't understand why these quarterbacks wouldn't be more open to restructuring contracts. And I know you're gonna get paid. So like, let's say you sign $100 million. I'm making this up. Or like, who would be interesting to put this into the fold? I would say Deshaun Watson. So okay, you give Deshaun Watson $250 million. I forget what the year on the contract was, but let's say it's 5 years, right? Let's say that first year you make 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
Year 2, you should restructure. You already made what a normal quarterback would have made in the few years. I would restructure in a way where it would allow you to buy other players. Because, dude, if you're making $40 million, who the fuck else are we going to pay?
Exactly.
And that means that the whole entire team is going to be built through the draft, and that's going to take fucking forever.
Yep.
You only get 7 picks if you got all 7.
What they could do is, like, another thing they could do is on the back end, they could make up some of that money, which I think that's what Tom did, was in endorsements.
Yes.
So you make up that difference in endorsements. Like, all right, you want me to? I could be the face of Aston Martin. You want to be the face of whatever.
But I find it weird, and you tell me. It almost seems like now some of these companies don't give a flying fuck about athletes, because I see less and less commercials with athletes.
Not really. They,
No,
they,
'cause,
when
like,
you
think about this, the NFL has their NFL commercials, but I'm talking about another outside of shit, right?
if you ever watch TV, they're there. Like, there's a lot. Hulu has Hulu Sports.
I know Hulu's crushing
They
they're
beast
killing
with
it
that.
those dudes. Yes.
They got Progressive who does that. State Farm who does that.
Actually, that's true too.
You know,
You're
like
right.
they have a lot of. Remember, we're not in these local markets, so we're not at the local market. So like Toyota, you know, in Houston, we're not looking at that. Bob's Steakhouse in Houston, we're not looking at. You know, like whatever. We're not seeing all these little like
Right.
things like that. AT&T has had a few things with athletes. It just
I mean, I'll tell you this: whoever the fuck Aaron Rodgers' fucking agent is the G.
Yep.
That motherfucker's on everything. I mean, even the fucking what is it? Check discount.
double check. You know, but like
that was a genius fucking like.
even
idea.
him when he took all that money, the team suffered. Like there's nobody on defense. You know, like granted, McCarthy is looking like exposed right now because he went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and
Not only that, he also went to fucking from Dak to goddamn motherfucking the Red Rifle, and now it's not even the Red Rifle. It's another homeboy.
Danucci. But what I'm saying is like he went from one legend to another legend,
Right.
and kind of wasted Aaron Rodgers. Like you know, he only got one.
It's weird though, right? Like, so okay, did Tom Brady and the Patriots fuck everything up? Because bro, if you win one, that should be enough.
Correct. But when
Right?
you
like, it's so many, it's so hard to get there. Like, people even discount. I was talking with this to my boy Brandon. Shout out to Uncle Salty, but we were saying that, and I think it was you as well. But like, the Bills went back to back to back to back. No one shows those dudes any love, but that's hard to do, especially after a loss to ratchet it up. I mean, the Dodgers are in that same kind of vein, you know. So to show how hard it is, I think if you get one, I mean, that's enough hardware. I think guys like Peyton Manning, you know, just step the bar up so much that you're constantly every season competing.
That's just a competitive, you know, bone and fire. Especially like Tom Brady, he's 6th round pick.
Right.
Nobody believed in you.
That's my quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta win. And
by the way, speaking about that shit, I love Tom Brady. I would love to get him on the show, but when he does that fucking
his Instagram stuff.
No. Fuck, he's on Instagram. Now when he did like a thing about him being picked 6th round, and homeboy started like crying. I thought it was a little extra.
I don't know, when you work hard at something and you get picked that far down, you know, like it's like you're like this 199th pick, like, you know, like you're sitting there waiting for your name to be called, you know, and you use that as motivation and you go to where you're at now.
Look, I get all of that, and I think that he's totally excelled. He's like the definition of hard work pays off. And
remember, he's raised right, you know, both parents, and maybe his father has kept him humble. You know,
I think it's important. You definitely need, you know, and I always say this, you know, because we were talking about genders and roles and all this other stuff. I think it's important for you to have a male figure as you grew up, because a lot of these guys who are like supreme athletes, the dad is in the picture hardcore.
Yep.
The Serena Williams sisters, or the Williams sisters, they're pops. Tiger Woods, pops.
Yep.
Michael Jordan, pops. Brady, I think his dad too. Yep. You know, look at fucking the Mannings, their dad. Yep. Look at the coaches, the Harbaughs, their dad. Like, everybody usually when they get the pops on the side, I think it gives you an extra grit, because as a dad, your responsibility, I feel, is to be a little bit harder to prepare them for obstacles in life, right? And then when you don't have a dad and you don't kind of get that cheat code or that kind of like guidance or influence, it's a little harder. It's a little harder because now it's a lot more on you, and you got to pull from within, and no one's really giving you the hacks.
And I think it's just about being there. Just be there.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, being available. It doesn't matter if you guys are broken up or whatever the case might be, but being around. And that's a huge thing. I was just telling that to my wife. I think it's important to have, you know, whatever it is, even if it's a gay couple, there has to be some kind of like role where there's a masculine energy in the building, kind of like trying to give you the lay of the land.
For sure. Is this about is a respect thing? Like just instilling morals and values. And is this something that, like my mom taught me that my dad would have been able to tell me? There's gonna be things that your dad could tell you that my mom isn't gonna be able to tell me. So like me, like I grew up with no father, but I had my grandfather there.
Right, that was the same thing.
So my grandfather was there, so I learned a lot from my grandfather, and I had a lot of women I learned from, stuff from them. But there was stuff that obviously they couldn't tell me because they didn't go through, and what to expect while being a man. They could tell me what women are going to be like and how to treat a woman and how women are going to react to certain things,
yeah, 100%.
and certain like stuff like that. But you got to teach these kids, to be respectful and hard work and being there and loving yourself and loving other people and things along those lines. Those little things count, like that one time going to see them, at an art show that you might think might be useless, it'll be very impactful into their lives. Like my two girls, I always tell them, daddy's always gonna be there, no matter what.
I say the same thing to my kids too. I'll be there. Don't worry, I got your back. You're good.
For anything, like even when you think you're doing something wrong, daddy's there. And I always make sure I give them a mantra, and I'll be like, "Who always got your back? Daddy got my back."
Yeah, for sure.
You got to give them mantras.
Yeah, mantras is important. I can't believe that shit wasn't taught more in school. I learned it a lot from Tony Robbins because he uses that shit like a motherfucker.
I think for what we did, and not what we did, how we grew up, in a sense of like growing up in the hood, being smart wasn't cool.
Right. Yes.
Like in our time,
weakness. It was weakness.
It was weakness. It was you're a nerd.
You're considered a nerd. Yeah.
You're a teacher's pet.
Think about this, bro, because I'm sure because you grew up with us too. But how about those movies, the nerds?
Yep.
Those dudes right now are running Silicon Valley, but in the '80s there was a whole genre of movies that these guys got beat up and they were the worst. And they couldn't
not getting no pussy.
Right. So now
and that's what happened.
The world.
And then that's the issue too. Like, I'm mad at myself because I know, like, when I was in my early 20s, I was getting money.
Yeah.
I had a
I
whip.
had stacks and I fucked that all up.
Exactly. And I was just worried about the next woman I'm going to be with.
Yep.
And the next sneaker I'm going to get. Mm-hmm. And all this stuff where, like, I'm teaching my kids now the value of money and how to invest it and what you should do with it.
I think that also too we got lucky because our parents didn't have a lot of this shit.
Yeah, for sure. But like we got to learn to do those things for our own kids.
Yes, for sure. I'm all day with it. Yeah. No, you gotta make sure you give them values. Values is what's important.
So like now, I don't know if you know, like, so let's if you have a home business,
mm-hmm.
when they're a legal age in your state, you put them on your company, your LLC, and you pay them whatever a weekly amount, a wage. And you put them on the LLC as vice president or whatever the case may be. And starting from 14, they start building business credit.
Wow. That's amazing.
We weren't taught that when we were kids.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
There was a lot of things that I used to get pissed off. I mean, I've been in tears at seminars in so many different ways, but I would always get upset that how many cheat codes wasn't given to us, right? Like, so for example, your parents are going to say, hey, get a job, go to school, blah, blah, blah. But they never said, hey, you should go and get an investment property, or you should invest in the stock market, or when you do that, diversify your portfolio, start your own 401k, get an a Roth IRA, get all these things, and you just I don't know.
That's
now it
also
seems like common knowledge, but back then it wasn't.
Even the system itself, like, why are we not teaching kids about taxes now?
Right, I agree. That's always been a big thing for me. Like, why you don't, like, in high school, balance your checkbook, how to apply for a credit card. Like the same way, remember when you was in school and taught you how to write a letter?
Exactly. It
should be the same shit.
Like, I know, like, the Kanye West was a little crazy, but did you see some of the Kanye West interview on Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
So, like, you know how he's saying, show these kids how to build farms, be sustainable, grow everything right there on your own land. Like, teach these kids now. like how to grow a fucking cucumber and a tomato and lettuce and whatever the case may be.
Isn't that crazy, dude? That we're going back to like this. It feels like Interstellar, where we're going back to farming, right? Where that seems to be the direction that we're headed.
It might have to be.
How to create, infrastructures and things of that nature. It's very strange.
And I think we need to do that and tell our kids that stuff. I wouldn't mind learning with them because I don't know that shit. I couldn't tell you the first thing about farming. I just know you put the seed in the ground, water, and you're done. But I
don't know shit, bro. My green thumb sucks, bro. Me and Tabitha have killed a whole bunch of plants, bro.
Exactly.
That shit is hard.
It is.
That shit is hard, bro.
And Kanye, like, people were like, oh, he's crazy and blah, blah, blah. But he's just thinking about so many different things.
Yeah, he's on it. That's one thing that I've seen, or I heard in the interview, that he's basically a Renaissance man. This guy's like the version of Da Vinci, right? Yeah. He's looking at how to have sustainable farms and how to build congregations and how to start schooling and how to build schools and how to build infrastructure and maybe
how to build it better, like make it sustainable and useful. Because you got all these kids coming out of college now that they can't do anything with their degrees. They're gonna have to be a member from his song, a masters. Like,
bro, I'm telling you, it's so crazy because I remember like one of the things. One of the reasons why I didn't go to continue my path in college was I seen a lot of people having the degrees and they couldn't get jobs.
Yep.
I was like, bro, I don't got a degree, but I'm making stacks right now as a bartender.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it was just a whole different thing to imagine. But we're going against the clock right now, so we got about like another 30 left because we still got to do a bunch of different other things. But I want to get into these games, man, because I'm hyped. I'm hyped to get excited. These things are going good. So, did you pull it up on your screen?
I'm on NFL.com on my phone. So
so what's the first game they tell you?
I have Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
All right.
And then Rams, Miami.
Okay.
Well, how do you have it?
I'm on some other bullshit.
Are you on Google again?
No, I'm on CBS. I'm on CBS Sports.
You're on the bullshit. I'm on NFL.com.
But NFL.com doesn't give you the fucking spreads.
Okay, so let's go to CBS.
Yeah, let's go. I want to get with that spread game, by the way. CBS. Sick graphics, my friend. We got a graphics company a name here.
For sure, I'm gonna get that guy's stuff. I told him I'm definitely gonna work with him again.
Yeah, but no, I was talking about your graphic skills, bro. Last week the pics on Twitter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Easy, as I said, we gotta start the new company. No, homeboy did a great job. What's my man's name so we can give him a shout out on the show?
Give me 1 second, for sure.
Yeah, that way we could get him more artwork. He did great work. I really, really enjoyed it.
He's the ideas designer on Fiverr. Ideas designer. That's his.
Nice. Thanks for the love, homie. If you get a chance to listen to this. So are you going? Are you on CBS Sports?
Hold on, that's NFL, NCAA. We don't want to do that. What's it? NFL.
By the way,
done.
Fucking Heineken 00 is fire. It tastes so good.
Okay, so I got Buffalo, Patriots, right? Then Rams, Miami. That's how you have it?
Nah, don't worry about it. We'll pick one. I'll keep in tune, and then whatever. This is a live show, so we'll try to keep it together.
All right, so let's go with first. All right, so we got Patriots at Buffalo, and Buffalo is favored -4.
So after last week, I was really excited about Cam the Man Newton. I thought he was gonna do some really, really amazing stuff. I don't know if there's been a bit of regression due to the fact that he's not maybe 100% due to COVID, but all the stories out of there were great. But there's been a lot of articles that have wrote terrible stuff about New England. The Bills didn't really seem to dominate the game as much as they should have against the Jets.
True.
The fact that they're telling me on your thing, it's already been moved up to 4. So Vegas thinks that this game is going to be close.
And this is a division game. So you know how that could go either way.
First of all, what's his name? Bill Belichick is just unbelievable.
But I want to know is he trying to win or is he trying to tank to get a top 5 pick?
Sure, but I think this is more a story that people need to look into. I think the moment that John Brown hasn't been available for the Bills offense hasn't been the same. because
Okay.
now they got to really do some other things because they had basically Brown was their
Stretching the field.
yeah, and then they had Diggs eating everything up, and then in the slot you had Cole Beasley. Without that, Cole Beasley's kind of had to be the deep, and now Diggs has had to be more of the intermediate slot guy. So I'm a little worried, but I'm gonna take the Bills. I don't think I'm gonna take the points because I'm gonna go on a wacky one. Let me see. Shit, I wanna try to get this one right. I'm gonna take New England to cover.
Okay, so I'm in New England +4
Yeah,
to
I'm
cover.
gonna take that, and it's crazy because the over under is 44, so that means that they're thinking these two teams are not gonna score a lot. So I'm gonna take New England on that, and then I'm just gonna go. Should I go again with him? I've been riding him all week. I mean all year, but he's been only averaging 10 points. If he doesn't get a touchdown, he's not as dynamic. Actually, I'm gonna take Cole Beasley as my fantasy player in this game. Cole Beasley last week I think he had like 14 catches. He's just.
And I think Gilmore's hurt, right? Isn't he? I don't think he's playing this week.
I'm not.
I know he's hurt. I know he was on the injury report, but I don't know if he's gonna play or not.
I'm sure he's gonna play. Patriot players play, bro. So yeah, so that's me. I'm gonna take New England cover by 4, and I'm gonna take Cole Beasley as my guy. What are you thinking?
I don't know, man. I hear a lot of reports that Patriots might be like Belichick is on this like real evil genius thing where he's gonna try to get a top 5 pick. He's supposedly everybody's on the block. Like there's no player that's safe.
Everybody.
Yeah. Whoever's wants to be traded, or be offered to get traded, it's available.
Damn, if I was the Jets, I'd fucking trade for Stephon Gilmore. He's just unbelievable.
Yes, and it's the Jets too. So it's tough.
They're trash. I'm just saying, I'm a sad Jets fan. I'm just trying to,
I think I'm gonna go with Buffalo here. I'm gonna go with Buffalo.
I think they're gonna win the game. I think it's just gonna not be close. I mean, I think it's gonna be close.
I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I think Cam hasn't looked right since he had COVID, and since he's on a vegan diet, I don't know how that's affecting him.
But he played great week 1 and week 2.
Yeah, but we're on week 8 now, and
Right.
he's looked like a big potato since week 3. So like we can't keep worrying about the past.
Fact. Can't rest on your laurels,
so I'm gonna
baby.
go Buffalo, and I'm gonna take Josh Allen. I think he bounces back.
Okay, yeah, because he's been looking really flat. But I also told you he had 4 road games in a row. That was tough.
Exactly. Now they're home, so I think I'm gonna go Buffalo with the points and Josh Allen. That's what I like.
That sounds dope. We're gonna have to probably figure out how to cut that. If not, or chop it up sweeter. If not, we'll put the whole fucking thing on Twitter. So I'm gonna throw a hook to you. So this is not that crazy exciting of a game, but I think there's gonna be tons of points in this game. Indianapolis and the Colts head to Detroit. To play the Lions.
So we get to the line +3. I got
+2.5.
Okay.
And the over other is 50. What are you thinking?
I think it might go under, but we're not doing that. I think it's not going to be as
No.
high scoring as you think, because
They smoked the Jags though last week.
but the
Or
Detroit's
Atlanta too.
Detroit's defense is better than who they play
100%.
than the Jags. So Phillip Rivers looked like a top 5 fantasy quarterback or top 5 quarterback last week. So I'm not going to read too much into that. I'm gonna go with Detroit. And
They're hot right now.
And I'm gonna go with Detroit and cover. I think Matthew Stafford has been balling, and I like T.J. Hawkinson. T.J. Hawkinson has been balling at tight end.
Great. Yeah, I agree. He's coming out. He's coming along.
And that's gonna be my fantasy pick. So T.J. Hawkinson, Detroit +3 to cover.
Nice.
And they're home, so I think so.
Yeah. Oof. I want to take Detroit so badly in this game. It's indoors, so I think that favors Rivers. I haven't watched. I mean, the Colts D's is slacking in their macking. They gave up a bunch of points to Cincy. Were they on a bye last week? I feel like I didn't watch them.
No, they played the Jags. Remember?
Oh, no. That was Detroit. I'm talking about Indy.
Indy played. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Oh, they were on a bye.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So that's why I get a chance to watch them and see what's going on. So I'm all day. I'm gonna take based on that right there. I'm gonna take Indy. It's gonna be close. I would probably buy the half a point. That way I win by 3. I'm gonna take Indy, and then fantasy player in this game. Fuck it, I'll take Rivers too. I'll take Rivers and I'll take Indy to win by 3. So you have to buy the half a point based on my prediction and
Got you.
my guessing. If you know how to do all of that. That sounds complicated to me, but that's what the kids tell me in the streets.
To buy a point, you don't get the hook. You don't get caught with the hook. All right, so we got Rams at Miami. Tua's debut. Who do you got?
First of all, let me go on a really quick rant about this. I think the Miami Dolphins are risking their franchise for a season that potentially really doesn't matter. They're not going to win more games with Tua. I think it was fucked up. They sat my man Fitzpatrick. He's amazing. That being said, I'm like you. I really like what Flores is doing down there. I think, how much is the spread on this? 3.5?
3.5. Miami's plus 3.5 at home.
I know. You know what? Fuck that. I'm taking the Rams. The Rams. The Rams got a chance to fuck up a rookie quarterback. Rookie quarterbacks in their first game is just, that doesn't make any sense to me. The Rams are gonna pin back their ears, and they got Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is a really good shutdown corner. They're gonna be screwed. So yeah, I'll take the Rams on this, and I'd probably buy that hook again too. Because I would say they would beat them by 3. But actually, you know what? I think they're gonna blow them out. This is gonna be a Sean McVay game that shows or makes another argument for the golf and that whole crew for being good. They've been slouchy and sucky in the last few weeks. They definitely need a bounce back game, and I think this is gonna be the bounce back game. They're gonna be in good weather. Everybody's gonna get some drinks on. It's gonna be good. And I'll steal your guy in this one because you took him last week and I think the week before. I'm gonna take Cooper Kupp as my fantasy guy for this game. So Rams minus 3.5, and like I said, I'll buy it, but I'll still think 3.5
cover regardless.
Yeah, they're gonna beat them bad.
So I'm gonna agree with you and take the Rams in this game. I think the Rams defense has been balling out. So I think they're going to be ready to play against Tua, especially a rookie. I think Tua might surprise them in the first quarter or so. But once they, lock in and get some of these tendencies down, these pros are too good. And my fantasy is probably going to be the Rams defense. I think the Rams defense is going to really lock.
That's actually a really, really good play. I like that play right there.
Yeah, so I think the Rams defense is going to lock them up. I think that, that's the play for fantasy.
That sounds dope. Okay, ready. This is your pick for game of the week, right? A division matchup. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we got Claypool and Ben Roethlisberger on the road to play the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson.
I'm gonna take Pittsburgh to cover the 4.5. I think 4.5 is a lot. I think the Pittsburgh's defense is fast enough and strong enough to contain Lamar, and those DBs are good back there with Minkah Fitzpatrick. And
he might be one of the best safeties in the game right now.
And if Pittsburgh scores early, I think Baltimore is done. They haven't shown an ability to come back when they're down. Lamar, as great and dynamic as he is, hasn't been able to show to bring his team back like a Russell Wilson, with his arm. So I think I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh here to cover, and I'm gonna take Big Ben. I think he shows up in a divisional game.
Okay. I agree with you 100%, but just to fucking create some variety, I'm gonna take the Ravens. I would definitely you said 4.5.
Yeah, I got minus 4.5 on my screen.
That's brutal, bro. And Vegas obviously think this game is gonna be a game because the over under is 46.5. So there's gonna be scoring. I'm gonna take the Ravens. I think that the Ravens also have a good defense. I think that Claypool was exposed a little bit last week against Tennessee. I think Tennessee didn't keep them down, but they might have shown an explosiveness because there was the Steelers are 6-0, but Tennessee lost more than they won.
True.
The Pittsburgh won that game. So I'm gonna take the Ravens. I'm gonna take Lamar. I'm not really crazy about that 4.5. That doesn't sound like a smart money play. If I had money, I'd probably take the Steelers to cover. But I'm gonna go wild, and I'm gonna say Baltimore wins this game. And it's definitely gonna be close. This is gonna be a great matchup to really see. This is probably Lamar. We're gonna see what Lamar's made out of. And if Lamar gets smoked in this game, then I think that MVP conversation needs to get pumped the brakes from last year. I think he just was in a good position and took advantage of something that people hadn't seen yet. Kind of similar to the RPO or the Wildcat when it first came out. Because now, I mean, he's still juking and spinning and running it to the house. It just doesn't seem as much with as much frequency.
When you get tape on somebody, the league catches up.
It's so crazy how the NFL does that.
Yep. So who's your fantasy player? Lamar?
Yeah, Lamar and the Ravens.
Okay. Let's go with you got Tennessee at Cincinnati. And Cincinnati is +7 at home.
Damn. I'm gonna take Tennessee. I think Tennessee almost won that game last week. But I'll tell you this. Tennessee really needs to talk to. You know what got me mad? I'm quietly a New England fan only because I can appreciate greatness and the way things work. Steven Gronkowski is a choke artist.
Oh, Steven Gronkowski, the kicker?
Bro, he's cost the Patriots fucking games in the Super Bowl. He cost them 2 kicks against the Philadelphia Eagles that if they would have caught those, if he would have came through on that, who knows how homeboy would have called the game. And he burnt Tennessee last week. So, I mean, he's got rings. And I like Vrabel, so I'm gonna take Tennessee on this. And you got to take the guy who's a beast. He's just putting up massive numbers. Last week I took Henry, but I'm not. I'm gonna go with Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill has been balling. So I'm gonna take Tannehill, and I'm gonna take Tennessee. I really don't like the 7 because I don't know. The Bengals could play, but if last week was any indication, they're gonna get beat every week by a touchdown. So I'm gonna take Tennessee and the Titans.
I am gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna take the Bengals to cover.
Ooh, of course. I think that's a smarter play.
I think I'm gonna take the Bengals to cover for sure, the +7, and then my fantasy player is probably gonna be Corey Davis from Tennessee, just because AJ Brown supposedly he's hampering a knee. He did practice, but I'm gonna take Corey Davis. I think they're not gonna go too crazy with getting him the ball. He'll probably be more of a decoy on the field. But I'm going to go with Corey Davis as the fantasy pick and Cincy to cover the +7.
Okay, done. And then Corey Davis, got it. Another game that you said you were excited for, I'm not really because I don't know what happened to Jimmy G. I mean, I know he's probably injured, but we got the San Francisco 49ers and Jimmy G headed to Seattle to play Russell Wilson and the Seahawks.
I'm going to take Russell to love muscle to bounce back from that game he had last week. I know they,
100%.
I think they're going to come back. Seattle's at home. They're -3. Even though 49ers have been balling, their level of competition hasn't been what it is.
They've been balling against potatoes.
Exactly. Exactly. A bunch of big potatoes all over the place. So it's looking, false. But I'm going to take Seattle. I'm going to take Russell Wilson. I just think he's just a beast. And I think the game is going to be really good. It's going to be closer than what we think, and I think that Seattle's going to win by 4. I think Jimmy G's going to throw a pick 6 at the wrong time, and Seattle wins that game.
Okay, I wish I could disagree with you. Who's your fantasy guy on this?
Russell Wilson.
Fucking bitch. So, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna double up on your shit. So, sure, is it 3 or is it 4 on yours?
I got 3 on mine.
Okay, perfect. It's 3 on mine too. All day Seattle. This is my lock of the week. You gotta take Seattle on this. They're at home, even though they're -3. That's not a lot. They could totally win by a field goal. And I'm gonna take DK Metcalf. DK, right? Fucking guy's name is fucking hard to say.
DK Metcalf.
Yeah, DK Metcalf. I'm taking because I wanted Russ, and Russ is gonna get back to cooking and making it happen. And they actually, you know what's really interesting about this game? San Francisco and Seattle, the last, I don't know, 5 years has been one of the more interesting games to watch in that division.
Yep.
And it's going to be a very interesting game. I think it's going to be a very hard defensively fought game because that's usually how it goes. And it's going to come down to the wire. But I'll take DK Metcalf and I'll take Seattle.
Gotcha. All right, let's go with your main man, Baker, and the Browns at home versus the Raiders. Who you got?
This is a fucking crazy ass game. So Vegas has this game as a 54 over under. So you know they're expecting it's gonna be Broadway
fireworks.
Lights, yeah, it's gonna be all over the place. Okay, so last week, man, I wish I could think off the top of my head, but Oakland got smacked, right? They got smacked by somebody. Yeah, they got smacked by somebody. I think they bounced back. I think.
Oh, Kansas City. No.
No, that was 2 weeks ago, I think, or 3 weeks ago.
They were mad that they had to play the game. Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and they got hosed in that game. Yep. So I'm gonna take the Raiders.
And it was close. The game was close.
Yeah, it was.
And then
no, they played Cincy to the wire, and Baker threw the pass to the right side of the field.
But you told me you said the Raiders.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is, the Browns played a close game. Their defense is.
Yep.
I'm gonna take the Raiders to come on the road because that crowd. There's no crowd noise, bro. That shit don't. Home field advantage is not as strong as it once was. The fact that it's 2.5, I'll take that. That sounds pretty good to me. And I'm gonna go with Waller. He's on it. Is it Waller?
Yeah, Darren Waller.
Yeah, he's a beast. I'm gonna take the tight end. I don't think he scores a touchdown, but I think Chucky gets it done because last week they just looked flat. I don't know.
Well, it was hard because they weren't able to practice. Remember, they were in COVID protocol. The offensive line.
Oh, that's right, the offensive line. Okay, yeah. They need to really figure out how to showcase Josh Jacobs. I'm calling out the organization right now. Stop running this motherfucker up the gut and put him in screens, motion him out wide. He has hands. They're going to ruin Jacobs if they continue to feed him the rock up the gut 30 times a game.
Some zone reads. Dude. Use them like
something, man.
Like the 49ers run, how they use their running backs. Like all their running backs, no matter who goes back there, is getting 150 yards rushing and like 13.
Shanahan understands putting guys in space. It's just the fucking thing. And so hopefully Gruden gets it this week, but I'm going to take the Raiders and I'm going to take Waller. I think I said that shit right. Fucking guys.
All right, I'm probably going to second that and take the Raiders to win the game.
Watch fucking Baker go off.
I think the Browns are putting too much stock and the fans are putting too much stock in the Browns beating the Bengals.
And they didn't beat them. They barely beat them.
Yeah, so like I'm going to go with the Raiders to win this game, and I like the 2.5 as well. But I'm going to go for my fantasy player. It's going to be Rashad Higgins.
Is he back?
Yeah, he's back. He played last week. He had 10 catches for a buck something, and a touchdown.
That Mayock, bro, is just getting players, dude. So he's unbelievable in the front office.
So that's what I'm going to do over there with that game.
All right. That sounds good. All right. That makes total sense.
It's on you, bro.
All right, I know. I'm trying to see here. All right, let's give you this one. This is gonna be love. I think this is gonna be the Monday night game. Tom Brady and the Bucks come to New York City / New Jersey to play the New York Giants and Danny Dimes.
All right, my rule is this game is plus 13.
Damn, on my shit is 10 and a half.
So mine is plus 13.
Everybody was taking that Tampa Bay money.
So I think my rule of thumb is I always take the points when it's above 10. So I think my Giants cover. I think my Giants defense is better than what people give it credit for.
They're okay.
It's better than what, like I said, like it's better than.
Yeah, I know.
It's not, it's not Tampa
trash.
Bay's defense.
Right. The Giants, arguably are like a 500 team.
Correct. And we had no OTAs. We didn't have anything like that. So like this team could have been better. Joe Judge is not looking too bad. He's not looking like fucking Bill Belichick or anything like that. But he's not looking like Hugh Jackson. He's not looking like that. 0-15, 1-16.
Right. Well, they were looking like that for a hot minute. They were 0-5, bro. Yep. So I don't know about that.
But I'm saying, but the games are closer than the record was. I watched some of the games.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. You can argue that.
So I'll take the Giants to cover the plus 13. But I know Tampa Bay is going to win this game for sure. But I'll take Giants to cover plus 13, and I'm gonna take. I'll take Danny Dimes because I feel like they're gonna be down. And he's gonna have to just throw it all over the yard. He probably get another 4 fumbles and 3 picks, but I'll go with Danny Dimes.
All right, dope. Okay, I'm gonna go totally different, and I'm gonna beast. This is gonna be my make me fuck it up. I'm taking motherfucking Tampa Bay and the points. Fuck buying any hooks. Ooh. They're gonna smoke them.
Plus 13.
They're gonna smoke them. Tom Brady does it again. He's gonna throw for like 5 TDs. I don't know if he's getting Brown this week, but Gronk is looking like he's cooking.
Yep.
Evan is looking good. Godwin is looking good.
But Godwin's out this week.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. They got that other kid. They got players.
Miller. Yep.
They got Miller's balling right now. He's kind of like the new Wes Welker / Julian Edelman for Tom Brady, and he's getting it done. And they're gonna just listen. Dominic and Sue and fucking JPP, and JPP comes back to New York. There's no way that they don't have some shit in the locker room for my guy saying, "Yo, bro, we're gonna smoke this team. They're gonna steamroll them. It's gonna be a blowout.
Give you some extra fingers to point them out.
Seriously. So yeah, I'm gonna take Tom Terrific.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. All right, as I'm gonna go throw it right back to you with the sad game of the week.
I was waiting.
This is the sad game of the week. All right.
It depends on whose side of the ball you're on, though. Because if you're fucking
Jets at Cincy, and the spread.
No, papi. Kansas.
I mean, sorry, Kansas City.
Yeah.
Jets at Kansas City, and the spread is 19.5.
Ooh, what? Is that a fact? Oh my God. Damn, disrespect. Holy shit.
It was 22.5, and they bet down. They got bet down to 19.5.
Wow. Okay. I didn't even know that. That's scary. That is so sad and pathetic. This is gonna be the highest spread of the season.
Yep.
This is alarming. I'm not gonna dwell too much on this because I definitely got to get my guys back on. Shout out to Take Flight Media. Shout out to BroadwayJets.com. Shout out to Mike, Matt, and Harrison. But guys, it's not gonna work this week. First of all, I'll tell you this: I would totally take the Jets in 19.5.
I can see that.
To cover, because that's way too many fucking points. You feel me? Like that don't even sound like that shit makes sense.
Straight disrespectful.
I don't give a fuck about the disrespect. It just logically that doesn't.
Logically,
you got garbage time.
True.
Right? Like I could score 1 point and that's it. And then it's fucking. You didn't get the 19.
True.
So I'm gonna take the Jets to cover. Man, I should put some money on this. I'm gonna take the Jets to cover, and I'm gonna say something crazy. Le'Veon Bell is gonna go fucking off, and that's gonna be my fantasy player.
He looked good last week.
Bro,
he looked like old Le'Veon.
He's always been this guy.
Yep. He looked like normal Le'Veon.
Come on. And now you got a coach who understands the same thing that Kyle Shanahan does. You throw the rock to the guy in space and let him do something. Yep. Andy Reid, in my opinion, is quietly one of the greatest offensive minds in our era. Yep. You know, he comes from that whole San Francisco 49er coaching tree, comes from that Green Bay old school coaching tree. He really knows how to make offenses work. I mean, he made Donovan McNabb unbelievable. Now you give him Patrick Mahomes. Wow. I'll tell you this, though. It's going to be crazy because Tyreek is going to score.
Everybody's going to score. Everybody's going to score.
Le'Veon's going to score.
Everybody's going to score.
I just don't know how the Jets are going to score.
True.
But the Jets slowed down the Bills. So,
but Josh Allen is not Patrick Mahomes.
I got you. But their defense played better.
True.
Okay, against a better team. The coach gave up the offensive play calling. Mm-hmm. So the plays actually looked like they were coming out better and looked sharper. And you know what? As much shit as I give to the Jets fan base and to Sam Darnold plays hard.
Yeah,
like,
he
you
does.
Can't take it away from
he
him.
does. He's really good. It's just that
sometimes
he's playing for the Jets.
100%. He's giving you even more so sometimes than that. And I think that's the problem. He needs to stop doing so much and maybe let the game come back to him a little bit. Plus, he's throwing to potatoes. So,
yep.
He's not Mr. Potato because Mr. Potato actually has hands. He could probably catch the fucking rock. These motherfuckers can't catch the rock for jack shit.
Yeah,
I think that's to cover that spread. And my man, who I would have named my son after, if I get another son, Le'Veon goddamn Bell. Peace.
Hear you. I think I'm gonna go the same thing. I think I'm gonna double down with you and take the Jets to cover. Like I said, my rule of thumb is anything
crazy.
Anything
20?
10 plus, you just take the points. 10 plus is just a rule of thumb. And I'm gonna take Patty Mahomes. I think he's gonna have like 4 touchdowns at half, and they're gonna sit him down and they're gonna bring Matt Moore in, and then the Jets just sneak in. You know, it'll probably be like 30-7.
Right,
45-7. You know,
that changes the complexion of that point spread.
Exactly. All right, now we got Minnesota on the road at Green Bay. Green Bay -6.5.
Bro, fucking Green Bay all goddamn day. I don't even got to talk about this. Let me say right now, Minnesota is not for real. They win games that they're supposed to win, and they lose games that they're supposed to win too. I like Kirk Cousins' passion, but Kirk Cousins just holds the rock too long. I like what they're doing with Jefferson. I like how Cook has come on. I love Thielen. Thielen's my motherfucking guy. But it's the Green Bay Packers, bro. And it's Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, they smoked them in week 1. They're going to smoke them again. Aaron Rodgers, bro, there's so many guys that I would love to get. But if this is a DF.
I traded for Aaron Rodgers last week.
Nasty. Bro, he has the weakest schedule. When they look at it, the Green Bay Packers have the weakest schedule in the NFL. And they play a bunch of bums. I'm gonna say so. If this is a DFS place, if it's cheap, it probably is really expensive. But I would stack Rodgers and fucking Adams all day.
For sure.
Those two dudes are gonna kill it. And so, just because Adams sometimes can get dinged up, I'm gonna take my play as Rodgers, and I say Green Bay. What's the spread on this game?
6.5.
I like that all day. I take fucking Rodgers by a touchdown.
All right, I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna go Minnesota to cover.
Just to cover, right? Yes.
Cover is plus 6.5. I think it's gonna be closer than you think. I think just because like teams who get blown out, especially in division games, they come back the next time around and it's a little closer. Dalvin's playing this week, so they'll have him. And it's a 1:00 game. If this game was a night game or primetime game, 4:00 game, Kirk Cousins has shown sucks at primetime. He folds like a lawn chair at primetime games. So I'm gonna take Kirk Cousins in my fantasy pick and Minnesota to cover. Mm-hmm. I just think I like it a lot.
All right, that makes sense. I mean, 7 is a lot too because this is a divisional game. I just like what Rodgers is he seems convinced that they're gonna go far.
For sure.
And I like it.
But she should.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go back to your division. And this seems like such an easy fucking game. Dallas at fucking Philly. What'd you think? So bad. My shit here says off the board. I don't even know what that means.
Me either. I got minus 11 Philly.
Shit. Oh my god. So
minus 11 Philly. I have no idea. Here. I'll probably take Philly with the points just because Dallas just doesn't look like they want to play for Mike McCarthy and Mike Nolan. And I think if Dallas gets blown out, you have to fire Mike Nolan or even maybe both Mikes and start like cutting people.
By the way, I've never been and I hate this part of the show where we got to talk shit about fools. I've never believed in Mike Nolan's defense. Yeah, he was all right when he was in the Niners, and then ever since then, it just hasn't. And
his defense wasn't even that good when he was in the Niners.
You see that the defense of the Cowboys is trash.
It's a historic piece to be one of the worst defense ever.
So they got no players, and they be partying a lot. So I'm with you, bro. This is so easy. Who's your fantasy player?
I'll probably go with Wentz. I think he's gonna throw a party.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna take Philly for sure. They're gonna take the points, and I'm gonna take Philadelphia's running back. I think it's Scott. I'm gonna take Scott. Last week, he did good things. If he's on your waiver wire still, I'd pick him up. I don't think that they're starting Roy. Is Miles playing?
No, I don't think Miles Sanders is playing.
Right. If Miles doesn't play, start Scott. Start all your Eagles. the ones that are
looking good.
Yeah, the bench everybody on Dallas. You could also make an argument to pick a player on this fantasy wise. I would start if Philly D2.
True.
Yeah, because they're gonna just start rocking.
All right, now
is the Red Rifle playing in this game? No, right? He's in the concussion protocol.
I don't think they cleared him yet, but it's a possibility he could play. Okay. But I doubt it because they normally make him miss a game, like quarterbacks when they take hits like that.
Got you. Yeah, so, no, it makes sense. I appreciate that. They should totally do that. That's why I don't. Oh, that was my rant, by the way, that we didn't argue. I don't know why the fuck, due to COVID, we have Thursday night fucking football.
That too.
We saved that for another day.
We got Chargers at Denver. Denver's +3. Who you got?
Wow, what a shit show. Another terrible game. It's like we were doing good for a couple weeks. There was like really interesting games, and now it's just like
now that the league is leveling out, and
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna take the Chargers, not because I'm in San Diego or I'm in Southern California. I just think Herbert's a really good quarterback, and they made me nervous last week because they struggled against the Jags. If you struggle against the Jags, that's not a good sign, in my opinion. But Denver's not any better. The only thing that favors Denver is that this game is in Denver, but it's only by 3, so I'll take it. I'll take Chargers, and I'll take Herbert as my player in this game.
All right, cool. I'm gonna take the Chargers as well. I think it's gonna be they win by a touchdown. I think the Chargers are gonna bounce back because, like you said, they were playing against Jacksonville, and it was a really close game, and they didn't even hit GJ Shark like that last week.
No,
and this guy Drew Lock is cool and all, but I think they still need better players around him. So make him
is a fucking joke, bro.
So I think they just need better players around him. So I'm definitely gonna go with the Chargers -3, and my player I'll probably go with Hunter Henry. I think he's gonna eat up the middle of the field.
Nice, I like that. All right, I think that we're getting close here to the end.
I think there's only one game left.
Yes, there is, and this is a scary one a little bit because I think now a couple things are happening. But let me intro the game first. So New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara head to Shy City to play the Bears, and your guy Nicky Foles. What you got?
I'm gonna take the Bears to cover +5. I think the Bears are better than what people think. I think their defense is solid. I think they number 1 in points allowed. I think around 18 points, 17 points.
Speaking about bad fucking defensive coordinators, Chuck Pagano's amazing.
Yep. He might not have been a great head coach, but he's a great defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Defensively, he got that shit churning right now.
So I'm going to take the Chicago to cover, and I'm going to go with Nicky Foles.
Wow, that's bold.
I think he probably get 300 yards, 2 TDs.
Mm-hmm. This game sucks because I have New Orleans. I mean, I have Drew Brees and I have Alvin. So I don't want like my fantasy shit to be like
a driving force. Or
I'm with you, bro. I'm gonna say on the road, it's the Bears. I really like what Pagano has done. You have the best player on defense on the planet, Khalil Mack. Even though his number or his, I haven't watched enough Bears games where they just like Khalil Mack, Khalil Mack, Khalil Mack, Khalil Mack. Like every play involves Khalil Mack. But yeah, this is the Saints. Something's wrong. I think the Saints. I know they got. You know what I found fascinating? The Saints have Jameis Winston. Let's say waiting in arms to take over the organization. I think the Drew Brees era is coming to an end, and it's sad to say because I'm gonna miss my guy. But the Saints are not gonna have a chance in this game.
And no Michael Thomas this week again.
That's killing them. They should. First of all, I get it, but I would not be cutting my nose to spite my face. I'd have been, listen, you two fucking pussies, hug it out and let's fucking go because we need to fucking win. We need to win. Like, have you watched the Saints game? The entire Saints game is like. Dump off to Kamara, dump off to Kamara, dump off to Kamara, run up the gut Kamara, run up the gut Kamara. They don't have nothing. Without Thomas, they're very, very one-dimensional. And that's why I'm probably not going to take them. I'm definitely taking the Bears in this game. And who's you took Foles?
Yeah, I took Nicky.
This is going to curse. I'm already losing this week. So I'm going to take Bears D.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Saints give it up. I think I feel bad. Drew Brees is I don't want to call it that digressing, but I definitely think that his arm strength is not what it used to be. He doesn't have the same weapons. Right? Yeah, it's hard. It can't be. Yeah, my man.
He's javelin throws.
Yeah, he's looking more like Phillip Rivers than he is Tom Brady. Even though last week he put up 80 in my league. Which means he threw it a lot, but
he had to throw the ball. He threw the ball a lot last week. He had a good game last week.
Fucking week, they're behind in every goddamn game they play, and this is gonna be the day or the week that they get fucked up.
For sure. For sure. I think that concludes all the picks, my guy.
Yeah, no, we didn't. We can't. The fucking
Hey,
first. I think this also concludes the first. We're getting close to the end of the live stream, bro. This is fucking exciting.
First episode. You know, we had some technical difficulties in the beginning, but we sorted that stuff out.
No, we did good, bro. Let me tell you something. I was plugging shit in and downloading shit. I did all right on my behalf. You know, the tech savvy guy. I'm amazed that it was able to be so flawless. Before you go, is that a real pumpkin or is that a fake pumpkin?
This is a real pumpkin. My
You
daughter,
cut that? Who cut that?
My daughters did.
That looks fire. It looks very good.
I know.
Professional.
I think normally they have. Like
Oh snap! There you go. You should have that shit on the whole time. Today
I forgot.
is a Halloween, Daddy. I mean, not really,
Well,
but
not yet. Tomorrow, it'll definitely be on tomorrow. I definitely forgot.
Yeah, you got to put it. Come
You know,
on,
I got everything else, but you know.
I know. No. Halloween came. It came and gone. It's like it's here and then it's gonna be gone.
For sure. Thanksgiving is right around the corner.
I can't wait. I love to fucking eat. I'm such a fat ass now. I'm like cranberry sauce, turkey. I need some stuffing and I'll be good.
I can't wait. Me or a girl.
No, what's up? You and your girl, what?
I finally convinced her to do the carnivore diet.
Oh, that Joe Rogan shit. So
Yeah.
so tell us a little bit about it before we take off, because I've been thinking about doing too. Because carbs has been making me really sluggish.
So it's just predominantly meat based.
Right? Is it like the Atkins diet type of shit?
Kind of, but just mostly meat. So only you can eat fish, you can eat chicken, but you can't have any sides, like no rice,
How about veggies? No
veggies, none of that shit.
So you don't eat. So
No
that sounds
sugar.
terrible.
No
That sounds
sugar.
terrible.
But supposedly your body doesn't become inflamed, and you're not eating anything with
How's
preservatives.
your energy levels? Because Rogan said his energy levels are through the roof. Are
Well,
your energy
I just
better?
we started today, so I'll know, and you know, I'll give
week
you a
or
better
two.
assessment. You know, right now today's day one, so like I had coffee, but I didn't have any sugar. I had it with honey, and it actually tastes really good. Coffee with honey.
Yeah, it does.
So that's step one. But for the most part, I didn't have any sugar today.
Oh,
Like day
eliminate
one, like
sugar.
yeah. So I didn't have any sugar today. I haven't no juice, no soda, just water, and I had one cup of coffee, and then I had a protein shake, and that's about it. And then I had
so the way it's set up,
yep.
you're supposed to eat nothing for breakfast, something for lunch,
You
and
can
then
eat breakfast, but you can eat like bacon and eggs for breakfast.
Oh, but that I don't know.
You can
So
eat bacon and eggs
okay,
because remember it's all about, because you're not gonna cook it with anything else. You're gonna cook it probably with butter. You're gonna cook the eggs with butter.
okay.
But it sounds interesting. I'm gonna try it.
No. It sounds. When he said it, I mean, Rogan says shit, and then I'm always like intrigued.
Try it out. See what happens.
I need energy. I'm fucking old, bro. I get tired all the
Exactly.
time. I'm taking a lot of naps. I'm like a senior now. I'm like grandpa. I'm gonna get the motherfucking orthopedic shoes with the.
I have the Crocs, bro. I have them on right now.
Let me see.
I go on with these everywhere.
Oh my god.
Real grandpa.
Fucking chef. What's happening here? Only chefs wear
You know,
Crocs.
these are like 10 years old.
Are they comfortable though? I never had a pair.
OD.
Really?
OD.
Wow.
I promise you get them. You're gonna be like, all right, I've been
How much
missing
is
something
a
in my whole
pair
life.
of Crocs? 90?
$30, $35.
Damn, that should totally get me a pair of those fucking.
That's nothing. And these are like the special like kind. These are 45. And
Top of the line.
Top of the line for
It's
$45.
like $45.
For sure,
All right.
my guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I really, really, really hope that you guys enjoyed this. For like I said, for the people that stood on so long, thank you guys so much for listening and all this stuff. We're gonna be continually creating more and more content. We got extra productions. We got Airin it. It's Airin Media. We got it all. We're coming hard. We're coming hard. So
sure.
thanks. Jay, I love you, buddy.
All right.
Thanks for having me and setting all this up with us, being the technical guru. And
Sure.
I'm excited. Can't wait.
All right, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And thank you guys. Make sure you turn the notifications bells on, so you make sure you get our notifications when we go live, and you guys pull up. All right, guys. Thank you guys for listening to us, and have a good night.
Yeah. Enjoy Halloween.